Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, T. As you know.
It's your boy O Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yo, it's a motherfucking video podcast. You one-stop shop for everything TV, media, from related. Along with any goddamn thing you want to talk about, come to you live direct. Proof of Concept Studios, which might be changing at some point in the near future. We'll see.
We're not gonna give that address out just yet.
No, not quite
or
yet.
Maybe ever. I don't know.
But before I do a goddamn thing, I just want to salute, man. It's so fucking. Every time when everybody's in attendance, it's a good vibe. Yeah. It's just a good vibe.
It feels the best.
You know what I mean?
The necessary combination.
Salute. I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for sticking with the podcast.
With an empty beer.
Hey, there's another one right there on the fucking.
There are sips.
Jesus Christ.
Sam Adams Cold Snap Winter Ale.
It's delicious too. What is this? Cold Snap? Yeah, this is fucking.
To make a joke, but like,
yeah.
That joke was
too spicy.
Funny in 1993.
You got to let it go.
Not now. Yeah.
Sometimes, catch and release. Sometimes you just got to catch and release, right? Sometimes you got it and you're just like, nah, just let it go. Just let it go.
So hard for me.
Right before we started the podcast, though, we were having an interesting discussion about sort of this red pill ecosphere. I mistakenly called it red tube. Apparently, that's something else entirely. I think that's porn. I'm not going to say that was top of mind, but who knows?
Let me find out right now.
Don't type in red tube. I don't want to fuck up your search history or I know, right? It's already it's got it in the favorites. It's just saved.
There's some good content on here so far.
So the reason why we were talking about it is because I was saying that I think her name is Just.
Her name is
Just.
So her real name is like Pearl something.
Just
it's
Pearl.
Pearl
is
Davis.
Her
Instagram
Pearl
is Just Pearly Things, and she's a part of the Real Talk with Zuby. But she's also always featured on like the Red Pill podcast, I believe.
Yeah. I was saying everything she says is pretty stupid. And hear me out. Hear me out before you defend her. Hear me out. The things that she says, they might have like a grain of sort of relevancy in them, but they're usually like broad statements that don't really mean anything. They're just things that sound good, that would sound good to like dudes. Like, yeah, I mean, all women lie. It's like, all right.
that was her perfect pitch, though. I will give you that. The pitch, the tone.
Yeah.
So I'll let you continue, then I'll give my take on it.
I mean, that's basically where it starts and ends.
She's not always right.
Yeah.
For anyone who's going to be triggered by me even mentioning Andrew Tate's name, he's a dick, but he's not always wrong. Fucking Steve Jobs is an asshole, and he wasn't always wrong, right? So I feel like when it comes to this, what's her name again? Pearl Davis, just Pearly or whatever. The reason why I think a lot of men enjoy some of her commentary is because, here's a time when you have a woman speaking from a man's perspective in a very honest way, in a way that like you rarely ever hear from women, right? She says things that are not just like triggering, but there's some truth to it. Like I listened to her comment recently about like I think it was about risk in marriage for men, right? I mean, if you're a man in our current society, if like your wife is unhappy in your marriage, right? She's incentivized to take your children away. Meaning, like, let's say you're married, let's say you're a couple, you guys have 3 children, right? The more if she takes your children away from you, and the more time she limits of you seeing your children, the more money she will get from the government. So she's being incentivized financially to take your children away from you. Right. What she was saying was like, for married men, which is why a lot of men don't want to get married. I mean, like marriage for me is like, I might do it one day, but like, I don't really want to,
sure,
but I might. It's a fucking huge financial risk. You could lose half of your shit.
Yeah.
And that's true. There is truth to that. But again, I don't believe or agree with everything she's saying, but it's not all bullshit. No one ever says all bullshit for the most part.
No, actually, for that statement that you just said, which is, I mean, I feel like I am being hyperbolic when I say Yeah, just grab another one. It's
the
fine.
beer's so far.
Just
We've got so much
fucking
audio
grab
equipment.
It. Jesus.
And then,
move the mic away and then pull it towards you. So the reason why did he have to do the sound effects with it? I don't understand the sound effects.
Because we need sound effects.
Grab the fucking the thing too.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, Addy was slowing it down. He could have. Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, multitasking isn't your thing, Addy.
Yeah.
We'll
do it live.
We'll do it live. Shout out to Bill O'Reilly. What the fuck's he doing right now? Have you ever just thought about somebody and be like,
know.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't. Yo,
we don't
what
want
if
to know
you
what
could
that
like
dude's
just
doing right now.
fucking zoom in really quickly?
Just
to
what
his
if you could just think of somebody like what if this is a Black
He's
Mirror
on
episode?
RedTube right now.
Oh, he was on RedTube.
Just
Yeah.
fucking-
RedTube and Red Pill. He's both at the same
He's
time.
got both going.
Yeah.
He's just yanking it like you're right, Pearl. Men don't get enough respect.
Oh my God, he would get off. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
He would get off on that so hard.
Yeah,
her
probably.
saying, "Oh my God," he probably just nutted himself. I think
Old fat white men are treated terribly in America.
Remember the episode
He
of
nuts
like
on his hand and then immediately takes a bite of a sandwich. Doesn't even watch.
Do you remember the Rick and Morty episode where like the wind keeps insulting Jerry, where the wind goes loser. Like he's like,
No.
what? Who said that?
Is this like is this one of the newer seasons?
No. This is
every
old.
episode of Rick and Morty.
This is like an
I don't
old
remember that
one. But that's how I imagine Bill O'Reilly is like fucking. You know, when Pearl says, "Oh man, you know, get it the worst in society."
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is Bill O'Reilly.
Probably.
Fucking letting one go. So the reason why I'm being hyperbolic when I say that everything that she says, and say hello to Blue, everybody.
Yep, dog.
Yeah. The reason why I'm being hyperbolic is because basically almost everything that she says is coded in, again, like some sort of grain of truth, right? Like she'll take a fact like that, like, you know, oh hey, or not. I don't even know if that's a fact, right? But I'll give it up to her.
No, I mean it's how
fair
the
enough.
government
Fair
works.
enough. I'm not.
It's how child custody laws work. I
Fair
know.
enough. With that, no, but you weren't
speaking to an
you weren't
expert.
married though, is what I'm trying to say.
And still,
Okay,
same
no,
shit. It's worse if you're married, actually.
Fair enough. I'm
Thank
saying,
God I wasn't married.
I'm saying I don't have personal knowledge of that, but I'm saying okay, even if I submit to you that that's true, what then is extrapolated from that is okay, well that means women are shitty because the laws are bent in their favor, but for this like one thing, like, you know what I mean, and then you think okay, well how are laws bent in favor for guys? They didn't need it, right? Historically speaking, right? Like we're coming all the way from women not literally being legally allowed to work, right, to where we are now. And we're like, I don't really think anything really came of that. Like that women got the right to work and then everything was pretty fucking peaceful thereafter. And it's like, I don't think that's how that fucking happened. I think there's a lot of shit that happened between now and then. And even still now, we're still feeling the effects of it. It's the same,
Yeah.
it's the same idea as like slavery, right? We're trying
It's
to,
very, very, very different. So far of a
How is that
departure
very
that
different?
I'm having trouble following you. So like, I think what you're saying is that like, I think you're speaking about like historical context, right? Historically, women absolutely have been like disenfranchised and like kept from being in the workforce and marginalized and minimized and like, you know, all of the words, right? And all of that's true. I think that on these types of podcasts, what's happening is they're having a conversation about like, you know, hey, like, you know, shit 100 years ago, it was a lot different then. And that's an absolute fact. And that does still today play a huge role in how
on
we
these
view,
podcasts?
Yeah.
I would argue that they spend a lot of time not talking about that kind of shit.
No, I think they spend. So we really like. I've never listened to a full show. I've only heard like 1 or 2 minute clips. Sure. Right. So am I missing the full context or the full conversation? Absolutely. I'm just reacting to.
I'm saying I've listened to enough of it where I can tell you they're not having that in-depth conversation.
There's another guy
especially
on the
about
podcast.
history.
I forget what. I don't know his name. I didn't forget it. I just never knew it.
Yeah. Are you talking about the dude that's kind of balding?
The not Andrew Tate guy, the other guy.
Andrew Tate. Yeah, the guy who's kind of balding, but kind of is like reminds you of Andrew Tate, but it's not
Kind of.
quite
It looks like his
Tate.
cousin, his Armenian cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
It's probably black. I think it's like mixed.
I don't know if he's black,
But anyway, so that guy, I mean, I feel like he's fairly honest about, hey, like, you know, there are a lot of things today that are still constructs of, what may have happened 100 years ago in terms of like how the family dynamic was, how, women's rights were, like what our social construct was like 100 years ago. And that does impact a lot of shit today.
Sure.
But where we are today, a lot of the shitty stuff, a lot of like the stuff that like, I think he was talking about feminism one time, right? He was like, or it was toxic masculinity. And he was like, that's become a new buzzword, but there is toxic femininity too, like
sure.
One is just more, if I say, oh, that's toxic masculinity, like it's more glaring. It's more like, it's more of a buzzword. It sticks more than toxic femininity, but both exist today. And
I explain
we're
why,
not gonna lie about that.
Can I explain why one might be getting more fucking play?
One, because men don't fucking. I've never talked about toxic because I'm just like whatever.
No, well, it's a reality.
Yeah, but like men don't really get to say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, I think
unless you don't think about it because
wait, I don't know why we don't hear you. Are you seeing your levels?
I can hear me.
Okay. You can hear you? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
I'm
just
go
thinking
ahead.
you could be looking at that through the lens of, and I'm not saying you are a toxic man. I'm just saying that you may have some of those tendencies, and you may be actually looking at it through that lens. So you're like, well, I don't think about toxic masculinity, but then that in itself is toxic because it's not realizing that there is a problem.
And it's also not admitting that there's like dudes have problems, right? And
for sure.
And what I say that to say is that okay, the reason why we're not talking about toxic femininity is the same reason why when we don't say all lives matter when we're trying to say Black Lives Matter is because one thing we're highlighting because historically we have not observed it, right? And so now we have to bring it to the forefront. When you say all lives matter, what it does is dilute it, right? What it does is render the thing.
Toxic masculinity is a very real thing. Absolutely real.
Yeah. So then you can understand, I guess, what I'm saying of why. And whenever I listen to these podcasts, what I find is it's so weird why we don't just say both things could be true.
Yeah, that is
an unappetizing truth.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Both exist. Both are very real. Both are very true.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody
we spend a lot more time talking about one than we do the other because.
But I explain why, which is because historically speaking, men have basically ruled over women, and so it's like Chris Rock said, sometimes when you have the most shit, you get to say the least shit. Sometimes when you have the least shit, you get to say the most shit. That's just how the fuck it works out, right? It's just that when you've been running shit for so long, and then people are like, nah, we've had enough of you, right? You've said all the fucking shit we need to hear because that's all we fucking heard for however long, right? You can't then turn around and be like, oh my word, how dare you? After 100 years or historically, I've had my foot on your neck.
You can't be a man and say like, oh, well, like let's say women's rights was approved yesterday, right? And then you'd be like, oh, well, you have rights now. Like, what are you complaining about? We're equal now.
Or I have no voice. And it's like, bitch, I've had to listen to you for so long.
The thing that I like about the podcast, though, and again, I've never listened to a full episode. I've really only ever heard.
You should. I would argue that you should. It's honestly a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean that's my worry is that I'm going to listen to it and be like, I could have got it in the 2-minute clips.
No.
I do feel like, and they interview.
They
interview a lot of like. Nah, this is going to sound bad.
No. I'm with you.
A lot of dumb women who
I'm
are
with
going
you.
to prove
No, hey, hit the goddamn thing. Hit the thing. I'll wait for it too. The fucking
do the
airs or air horn bombs, whatever. I don't care, because what he fucking just said is fucking incredible, right? Say what you just said. I want to.
It's the same reason why, like in the news coverage, right? Let's say there's a crime or a shooting or whatever. Newscasters would generally interview the person. Probably not the most equipped to speak about the event that happened.
In all of their fucking podcasts,
you're like,
there's a guy with a suit on. Well, I do OnlyFans, and it's just like, have you tried not interviewing the person who does OnlyFans?
To their point, sometimes they do have a lot of like women on there who are
I've watched
top of their field.
I went down a deep rabbit hole.
Entrepreneurs
for like the last couple of days. Every clip I saw, I didn't see one chick who oh shit, MIT, like you know what I mean, like
you're right.
Harvard.
Yeah. I
like,
think they do.
Come on now.
Select, but there's a reason for that selection though. At the same time,
Of course, there's a reason for
Yeah.
that.
So-
That's what I'm emphasizing. Is that there's a
they
reason for
select
that selection.
these types of women because it's also like those types of women. A lot, if you watch the show, are the types of women who are like, well, no, I look good and I'm pretty and I take care of myself.
Yeah, but
so
but
a
if
man
you,
should take
but
care
it's,
of me.
it's just
and-
like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If that's the lens you view the world as, right, which is all women care about is money and getting the dude who makes the most money, right? That's all they fucking care about. And then you seek out women who specifically have this viewpoint of the world. No shit, that's your worldview. Of course, it's your worldview.
yeah, well, it makes for a better,
No.
podcast because like,
It doesn't make for a better podcast.
Let's say you have a woman on there.
It reinforces you, whatever your narrative is, it just reinforces
I
it.
think it makes for a better conversation if you have people who like disagree about a thing, but, can
But they
have a
don't
conversation about
disagree
it.
is my problem.
No. I think usually they absolutely do.
No,
disagree.
let me tell you exactly how these podcasts usually go. Hey, women are pieces of shit for only wanting guys for their money. You guys need to either stay in the kitchen and want me for my money or get the fuck out of my face, right?
I can't.
No. I'm not. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not.
Yeah.
And also, that's not terribly far from what they would actually say.
It's not terribly far, but it's like
it's not
there's
really
like
that off.
There's a line in the sand, and that's on the other side of.
I'm not.
They
convinced.
are very close to the
I'm
line.
not convinced
but
that
was
they
on the
haven't
other- they're not
actually said that
I've
before.
never heard any one of them say women should stay in the kitchen. Like, I've never heard.
Addy,
Even
I don't know if you've gone down this like.
I've never even heard Andrew Tate say that.
Yeah,
But look,
I have.
What Andrew Tate? This dude who,
yeah,
for one,
Yeah, listen, I do not defend this guy by any means.
I feel like I don't know this for a fact. I don't know for a fact.
You said that
I am
like you know how he talks.
yeah.
You know, he has that fucking.
Most
men
how he's been able to cultivate such a fucking like audience
with that voice.
with the voice and how people just don't laugh every time I hear him. I'm like,
Now, granted,
this is the guy.
Where's Andrew Tate from? What country is he from? Isn't he from
like
British.
Ireland? He's British.
Where is he?
He's
I
British.
mean, I don't know.
He's
From
British
the
and he sounds
UK
like wait.
somewhere.
I can.
No, he's
I can
from
fucking-
Look. Let me kind of put it
let's
into
let
this
Addy
little
dive
bit
in.
of a perspective, Orain, just so maybe we can put a button on it. So when you're talking about like women's rights, and just toxic masculinity, feminine masculinity, whatnot.
No.
You kind of have to look at.
I'm sorry.
Where? Go ahead,
Addy,
man.
I'm sorry. I have to stop you. Technically, apparently, he was born in D.C.
Oh shit.
Well, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Okay, but I guess he lived in Britain.
I thought he was Romania.
No,
No,
that's
just where he
that's
moved
just where
his
he
business
loved
to.
the
Where he taught
allegedly,
the laws.
allegedly. Hey, ever since we saw that Brett Favre lawsuit, I'm saying allegedly with everything that
Everything.
since he's suing
Shannon
Pat
Sharp and
McAfee,
Pat McAfee, yep.
and then some other I think auditor or some shit. Yo,
is it
slime ball that guy is.
Who? Favre? Yeah.
What is with the Packers quarterbacks? It's like you just become a Packers quarterback and you just lose all sense
Out
of
there in
fucking
Wisconsin,
reality.
you're
It's
just
an
like,
epidemic,
you know
man.
what?
There's
Fuck
nothing
some
else
shit
to
up.
do. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, Addy. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to.
so
jump in.
it's all good. So what I'm trying to say is like when you look at throughout history, and Tunde alluded to this, men have generally always been in power, and if you kind of look at like post-Napoleon era, so like the 1800s, like 1815 or something like that, it was kind of like the revolution of like when really men became in power throughout all of Europe, throughout the U.S. Then you look at the first women's right to vote wasn't introduced until like 1860 or something like that. The civil rights era was in, the mid 1900s. So when you talk about, women have the same rights as men right now, and that might be true in certain instances, they are still coming from the bottom up, and from the bottom is the hardest place to come up from, especially when you have men who have already been at the top controlling certain things. So when you talk about how am I going to get myself up, it's like the whole, lace your bootstraps up and get to work. Well, if you've got no boots, if you've got no laces, how are you ever going to make that? So it is a battle constantly, and you're still fighting that patriarchy consistently, even though in theory you're supposed to have the same rights.
I think
that's
you guys
how-
have missed the point a little bit.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. Maybe we
So-
Possibly.
in a lot of these conversations that they're having, right? So, and again, there was a woman on the show. I saw a clip of her like the other day, and she's like she's an entrepreneur. She's like a New York. She's on the Forbes list. She's been on, and what she's talking about is equality and equity in her relationship. And like I feel like that's a lot of times what the podcast is talking about, relationships between men and women, not necessarily like how our societal construct,
no,
right?
Can I tell you how wrong that is about what they're talking about specifically?
Yeah.
So the one thing that they actually do that actually pisses me off more than anything else isn't what they say about women, even though I can spend days on that in terms of just trying to dissect the things that they're saying. But they speak exclusively in generalities. So they explicitly talk, men do this, women do this.
Yeah.
Women do this, men are
That
this.
is true, for sure.
That's it. So what else are you talking about other than society when you say that? That's
So-
all you're referring to.
And so I have a question though. I've never seen one of the. I mean, I've seen Jesse Peters, and I know that chick has been on Jesse Peters a couple of times, and he's a fucking
Jesse
deranged.
or do you mean Jordan Peterson?
No, Jesse Lee Peters, the Southern.
Oh my god, my
that
favorite guy.
She's been on his show, and that's where I know her.
Amazing.
From. Yeah, exactly. So is she speaking about her personal experiences and then putting this out as a generality for all of men?
Wait.
of
When you
women?
say she, who are you referring to?
The what was it? Pearl Davis.
Pearl Davis, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like when we're
Oh
talking
shit,
about
she's
her,
been on Jesse Lee
Yes,
Peterson.
absolutely.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta watch it.
Pretty sweet.
Holy shit!
So to answer your question,
because we all have different experiences.
Yeah.
So you can't just generalize that. That's where fucking
No, you
everything
can
from
to
race
some
to
degree
people
with
is
like
fine.
averages, statistics. You
Yeah.
can make some sort of generalities.
Sure.
But a lot of the things that they present as generalities are just opinions that they have. They're not
sure,
they're
everybody
not
does
based
it.
in fact.
Steve Harvey, Oprah, Dr. Phil, like a lot of them, when you're speaking about like, let's say like individual relationships,
Yeah.
the way you relate it to the larger public is to speak generally, is to use terms like men and women, even if you're not saying all men or all women. I'm just using a general term to say some, most.
I think you're being very charitable to them when I don't think that that's what they actually intend.
So again, in what I've listened to,
Sure.
in the same way that like if you and I are speaking about like relationships and we're having a one-on-one conversation,
Yeah.
I may still say women do this, men do that, people, I'm going to speak fairly generally as not to get super like narrowed in or super granular on like here's my individual relationship when we're talking about how men and women interact as a whole.
It's hard to be serious when they just fucking spit. And then you go to the single shot.
Gotta go to the
What
single
an
shot.
asshole.
But so again, 85% of the shit that they say, I
Yeah.
do not agree with because it's entertainment, right? It is meant to be entertaining. They're
I
these
think
guys with
that-
strong opinions, and they
So
invite women on with strong opinions.
The problem that I have with it when we just say it's just entertainment is that I think you're right, but the problem is that apparently there are a lot of fucking young dudes who think, oh, this is correct. Like this sounds about right. When in reality, like, so take for instance how they just generally speak about women. It's like, but I don't know if any one of them would like speak about their moms that way, right? Like they wouldn't, like I wouldn't ever talk about my mom in the way that they talk about a lot of these women. And if I'm being honest,
but when our moms and our grandmothers look at like how, their generation of women is a bit different from like the current generation of women, even our moms and our grandmas would be like, yo, like you guys are in for, a world of fucking trouble because
different
of
generation though.
Yeah, it is generational. You're absolutely right. But like, I was talking to my mom the other day. She's like, yo, like the shit that like I see, that like younger women these days, like the high expectations with the low, not all women, but like, hey, I expect you to take care of me because like I'm good looking and I can cook, but like, you've got to be the breadwinner and I expect this and that from you. Mm-hmm. And also you can never speak about your feelings because mine are more important, like things like that.
Well, can I ask you a question? Have you ever had a conversation, like a frank conversation, or maybe you just caught her, maybe she's 2 glasses of wine and you just have this like real conversation with her, right? What I came to understand, and maybe I'm revealing too much here, apologies, Mom, if I am, but what I came to understand is my mom felt from what she felt versus what she felt the duty that she had to do, 2 very different things,
For sure.
right? And I think that our parents come from the generation of we don't fucking care. Like, so I'll put it this way. My parents were together. there's a part of me that wishes very strongly that they did not remain together, even so much as maybe it would have resulted in my non-birth. Fair enough. But
No,
it was
go that far back.
Just cut it off at a certain line. 87. No. I had we got to get my little sister in there. So we got a 93. 93.
Still fuck.
Anything
Just
post
one night
93. Yeah. So I think our parents, when they speak on this, I think they're speaking, I wouldn't have done that in my time. But if you catch them in the right moment, they'll admit that, fuck all that shit. Like I was not. And so
especially if they're like religious or they come from a particular community where it's like, this is just our culture. You don't get divorced. You don't leave.
Yes.
Even if you know your husband's cheating.
It doesn't matter.
Leave. Yeah.
He could be the world's biggest piece of shit. It doesn't matter. And it's like, but it does matter.
Yeah.
Like,
so yeah, Addie's right. That's like that's definitely a generational thing
for sure.
So like there is context missing when you talk to your grandma about like, if you're talking to your grandma about like your relationship today, she's probably gonna be like, yo, that doesn't
she's not going to understand
like my relationship in 1950. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's what we do, right? We relate it to our own situations, which bringing it full circle, and we can leave it after this. Bringing it back full circle to these type of podcasts is when we hear just pearly things, that's what it's called, right?
That's her Instagram. Yeah. I think her name is just Pearl Davis.
I don't fucking care. When we hear these dudes with Fresh and Fit, when we hear, I guess to a lesser extent these days, Andrew Tates of the world, right? What we're hearing, like all I hear is you have some sort of core wound that you haven't worked out yet. Because I think what they sound like to me is what extreme like feminist or extreme whatever sound like to them. But they don't hear it in themselves. But I hear just as preposterous as the extreme feminist might sound to me, they sound the same because you're just coming at it from the opposite end of the spectrum. You're just saying, you're pushing this way, or I'm going to push the complete opposite way. Right. But it's like they don't hear the same illogic in their reasoning of, well, women only want men because, like, so for instance, I'll tie it up with this. They don't get the illogic nature of their thinking to the degree in which they'll make 2 points. And I've heard this point made 1,000 times on their podcast.
By the men on the podcast or the women on the show?
Kind of weirdly by both.
Okay.
Is that they'll say, hey, I want, or their women only want men for their money. And I'm judging and their judgment of like one of the I guess detractors for a woman is basically her body count, right? If you slept with too many men, I don't want you, you're disposable. Or if you're a stripper or whatever the case is, you're disposable, whatever, right? But then these same dudes will listen.
I didn't say anything.
Listen. But these same dudes will hop in their DMs, and if the women don't like respond to the dudes or are like, yeah, I'll give you some play. They're like, oh, well, that's showing that you don't really care about anything unless I have $1 million. And it's like, but the inherent illogic in that makes me like cringe because it's like, that's the same thing as saying, well, you don't like body counts. And yet you think that because you slid into her DMs, she owes it to you to give you some play. How many dudes, that same woman, how many dudes do you think slid into her DMs? Now, if she fucking gave every dude that same chance, I'd be like, all right, I guess let's do this.
Yeah, her body
right?
count would be crazy.
So then, what are we doing?
I think so that's like the 2-minute wrap up of like what a 2-hour conversation on that show might be. But I think the other side of it is like, and then we can move on and talk about some movie shit. Because this is not a relationship.
You get the last
podcast.
word. You get the last word.
I think the other side of it is like
media.
Most of what I take from their conversations is talking about societal roles, like men and women, right? Or how men and women interact in society.
Yeah.
But like really focused more so in like a relationship, right? So it's like one of the things that I heard recently on a podcast that I agree with is like, a woman who makes, and it was a woman saying this, I forget her name, but she was like, a woman who makes $50,000 a year will expect the man to make $100,000 a year. Right. And then let's say they arrive to a point in their relationship where now she's doing well. Right. He supported her or they supported each other. And now she's making 100,000. He's making 100,000. She will and I think and I looked this up too. I think it's like 78% of women initiate divorces, right? Due to like,
I think it's 80%, but
80%,
Sure.
due to like unhappiness, unfulfillment, and a lot of times those boil down to either time and attention or finances, right? So a woman who makes $100,000 a year will leave $100,000 a year man, right? Because she's like, well, you need to make more, you need to be the breadwinner, you need to support me, right? But a man who makes $100,000 a year will, will date 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year earning woman, because it's like not about the financials for most men. So like when you talk about like, but in that conversation, they'll use words like men who make more money, women, blah, blah, blah. But when you deduce it down to like individual relationships, I think that is when you see the point that's they're making or trying to make. Now, I don't always agree with it, but I don't necessarily think about it on the terms of like a large social scale. I think about it on the terms of like in individual relationships, is what they're saying accurate or inaccurate, true or untrue?
What is that? I'm not sure what that means. Is what I'm trying to say is that I don't know on an individual basis like what that means, because everybody's situation is different, right?
For sure.
Which is why all we can really talk in it's why I guess they mostly only talk in these generalities.
Yeah, because it's like 6 people in a room. They can only speak from 6 people's experience, not like all of society. But when they speak about those things, you do have to speak generally.
No, you can just speak about your experience. Like you don't have to speak in generalities.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you always relate it to your experience. But the whole point of the podcast is to talk about relationships between men and women in society. That's why people come to the podcast. I don't want to hear you talk about you. I want to hear you talk about related to you, but talk about the bigger shit.
Yeah, but in order to do that, you have to have an honest conversation about how, like, so for instance, if we're, and I'm really sorry. I know I said this was the last word, but I just, there's so many things I want to respond to.
Yeah. Tunde always has to get the last
no,
word.
I don't have to have the last word. It's just, I need to make this point.
This is why I couldn't be in a relationship with you two.
No,
you always gotta get the last word. I don't feel like I'm being heard
shout out to my partner.
Seen.
Shout out to my partner. She deals with me.
Also, Tunde, you're not making $100,000 a year. So
yeah,
clearly,
how do you know?
Damn,
how do you know
just
that?
put his taxes out
because
there?
the ring is not with you. That's why. That's how I know.
You don't know that. But what I'm trying to say is the reason why we're okay with this dynamic, historically speaking, right? Or why we're feeling like the remnants of that is because men are actually okay with that scenario. When you're making $100,000 and she's making $50,000, you're fine with that. You know why? Money is power, right? And for so long, along with just like, I guess, physical abuse, or I guess the intimidation of physical abuse, is the financial abuse, right? Meaning that like you can't, from the time that you couldn't even have a job, right, to the time where you got a job but it's not paying you terribly well, to okay, you're doing kind of okay for yourself. Men have enjoyed the benefit of having that power, right? Because money is power. So I can direct shit in the household because it's like, bitch, where you gonna go?
Financial abuse is like a thing that does really happen in relationships.
It does, and so we're okay with, historically speaking, we've been okay with that dynamic because that is power. We know that's the case. That's why do you think a 50-year-old dude can go get like a 20-year-old woman, right? Is because
there are different reasons for that.
I guess daddy issues. What do you do?
Maybe, or just transaction, right? That's a lot of times what it is. It's just a transaction.
Yeah, we're not disagreeing.
Yeah,
that's a power dynamic. Yeah, like with that comes a power dynamic.
So,
yes,
sure, but I think that is to exclude the woman's choice to do it, meaning that like
I'm not
man
saying,
is exerting his power.
No. I'm not saying the woman doesn't have agency in this arena. Although I would argue that back then there wasn't much agency.
Yeah, 100 years ago, yeah, but
if I couldn't work, what the fuck else am I going to do? Like, just be on the side of the street begging for change? Like, no.
In 2023, like let's say sugar daddy, sugar baby, or whatever, like that's a transaction at this point. It's not as much of a power dynamic.
I would argue it's a little bit more complex than that, but fair enough.
Sure, there's complexity to it, but it's a transaction between two agreeing people.
Yeah, but I think the essence of what I'm trying to say is that when the roles get reversed, she's making 100,000, you're making 50,000. There's a lot of
Let's get it, baby. How can I support you?
No, that's you. That's you. That's a personal take. But what I'm saying, what I feel in general is that guys will be insecure about that because
do you feel like that's the majority or the minority?
Of guys?
Yeah, Addy. What do you like? Let's say your wife starts pulling in $50K a year more than you, does that make you feel like insecure? I feel like that's the minority of men.
No. And the reason why it doesn't is very generational, because to me, that is my partner and we have one family. It is not a one person transaction with a side piece. We are one family. We're going to make that money. And I really kind of wanted to actually point this out, and Tunde kind of, you pretty much jumped on it. To resolve that issue that you were talking about, Rain, with the 100,000 man and the $50,000 woman, and then there's some discrepancies there, even it out. Have all the equal pay across the board. Have them making as much money as men do. Don't have it be for every dollar a woman makes 60 cents. Have the transaction be equal across the board and see where that would actually get us on the same playing field. Like me and my wife, we look everything, and to a certain extent, her sister too, Rachel, that lives with us. It's all one family, one transaction. All of our money's pooled together. There isn't like, hey, like I'm going to have $100,000 because that's what I made. You're going to have $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. That's because you made. No, it's one family. Like our combined income is like $250 between the three people inside this house. And that's how we manage ourselves.
Just throwing everybody's stats
I'm just,
there.
throwing it out there, letting you know I'm doing all right. But my point in this is that you can even out the playing field and have everybody more or less happy. This is speaking of generality, of course,
in a marriage, absolutely, and I think that is ideally how you'd want your marriage to be. Is that like we're no longer just two people that are just fucking. Like we're a single entity, and we're gonna make moves together. You support me. Like for 5 years, you might be supporting my ambition, and then for the next 5-10 years, I might be supporting yours. And like that is the sacrifice you make in a relationship. Yeah, so on and so on. Now, when you're dating, I'm not. You know what I mean? Nah. What?
No. But I don't think anybody.
My money's my money.
I don't think. I don't think.
Define dating though, because you're talking about it like that's also talking about it in a generality, because you're just saying in general when I date, 3 women in a span of 1 month, I'm not going to consider us all equal.
That is true.
That's a good month.
You need to start talking like once you get into a long-term relationship.
That's
like
almost 1 a week. That's a nice average.
I'm just saying.
You can do that in February
2-3 years now.
or December.
Had a few women,
Wait, why can't you do that in February, December?
Because in December you got Christmas, holidays.
There's too much going on.
You can't split
too many things going on
between 3 women.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then in February, you got Valentine's
not enough days
Day.
in a month. Yeah.
Valentine's Day is the worst.
That's
day.
expensive.
Oh my God,
that's expensive.
3 dinners.
Look,
3 dinners.
Look,
you would try to make 3 dates on Valentine's Day.
Look, all right. To
6,
button it up a little bit.
8, 10.
I don't know. Look, all right. To button it up a little bit, like I understand where you're coming from, because you're in a type of situation where you can see what had happened when the system, as it is designed right now, regardless if it's for the benefit of men and women, screwed you. In a sense, whereas
I don't feel like screwed. I just feel like
I will advocate for you in that term. Yeah.
The scales of power in that were tipped a certain way,
exactly.
and they weren't tipped towards you.
But
whereas then I'm looking at it from the married perspective. He's looking at it from a long-term relationship perspective.
Yeah. So we have like 3 different relationship constructs, which is why we probably view these.
Which
things
is nice,
exactly. Right? But that is my whole fucking
guys,
point.
That was a great.
We were just talking
summarization.
We were just talking about how they don't bring in the proper people onto a podcast
to
discuss
man,
this.
They got
3 different types in here.
I'd love to be on that show.
That's how you got to do it.
No. You know why we couldn't be on that show is because they would basically call us simps. Like even you who would at least in some way
agree
with them.
No man on the planet to call me a simp.
They would.
Probably because I don't.
Do you know why?
Make like $500,000.
No. Forget the fact that you don't make.
I think Andrew Tate said any man who's making less than $1 million should be ashamed of himself.
He's also in jail.
He's also
so let's relax. But the reason why you couldn't make it on that podcast, why they wouldn't even probably let you even get through the door, is because you're making, as much as they like to be the rational ones in the room, right? So they're calm, cool, but they're saying batshit crazy things, right? But they like to be the ones who like at least somewhat, at least sound like they're making sense, right? But when they meet somebody else who can match them, like I think I watched one where they had like Destiny on there. You might not know who that is, but he was making like reasonable arguments, and you can see how their demeanor changed, the way that they responded was a little different, right? They don't, they like the chaos, which to go to your point, it's entertainment.
So, it's entertainment. I don't like those ones. Like when I see them arguing with like some OnlyFans chick or whatever, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to that one because
Come on,
I
this
get
is a
it's a
stupid
layup.
conversation.
But
Yeah.
the one that I liked most recently is they had a woman on there again. She was like a Forbes lister. She was an entrepreneur. She owned several businesses that she
I haven't
started
seen that
by
one. Do you
herself.
remember her name? What was her name?
I don't, but I can
Yeah.
look it up and send it to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Again, I only saw the clip, but like
Yeah.
she was being very super intelligent woman. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
MBA.
This will be the first time in the history of me watching this type
see,
of content for me to see.
It might be your first.
that somebody
I've heard and seen them have like more
reasonable conversations.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna like deduce it down to like, oh, you have to have a certain. You have to have certain degrees.
No, I don't
to be an
even. No,
intelligent
I
person.
just
But, like,
no. You know when
Yeah.
you're talking to somebody who's
Exactly.
Hey,
yeah.
okay. I'll let
Those
you
are the
talk.
conversations
Okay,
that I like to
cool.
listen to because
Yeah.
it's all right. These people are. I'm not gonna say equally matched intellectually, but like there is intellectual.
Yeah, you can't
equity
just
and
pull
quality in the
somebody
room.
like off the block and be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
trying to use podcasts." Like,
Can't be shooting up fentanyl,
fuck?
and then I'm like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on this social dynamic?"
yo, on that note, let's see what the fucking social dynamic is on what the fuck's going on with some movies this week. Let's get into fucking.
Hold on, I
There's
just want to comment.
Yeah.
Rain
Shoot,
always
shoot,
brings
shoot.
it back to drugs.
Hey man,
Oh,
it's,
it's-
it was,
yeah, you
it
got
was
to.
drugs or your wife and kids leaving you.
They left
One of the
you.
two. One of
That's
those
it.
2 points are going to
She
get
was
made.
incentivized to do it. That's what Pearl Davis would say. See, that's my biggest fear. That's why I don't want to get married.
Hey, cheers, salute. Okay, so let's talk about some this week, next week shit. So this week we've got Magic Mike, Magic Mike's Last Dance. The fact that it has Selma in it at all, like, period. And by the way, Addy, all the rest of the ones aren't going to have lowers on it. Just preparing you for that.
Nope.
Just for the fact that it's Selma, and
You're gonna see it.
what do you mean? Am I not going to see it?
I mean, are you?
Am I not?
Listen, and this is not like
I don't understand.
This is not like
I don't understand the question.
So there are some men who like would never see like Brokeback Mountain or like Magic
No,
Mike because they're
I
like they're homophobic.
Don't
right?
give a fuck, dude.
You're gonna see Magic Mike in theaters. You're not gonna wait till it comes out on like streaming. You're gonna go.
Wait. So the premise here is that you think I would be embarrassed to see Magic Mike in
No,
theaters.
no.
Okay,
Well,
so then
well,
I'm confused.
You
by that
should be
question.
embarrassed at how you're spending your money, not at seeing the film.
No. I've never seen a Magic Mike in theaters, and that's just because I just don't care to. And honestly, I'm weirdly
You see it in
really.
3D?
Yeah, I mean, if someone was in there,
if Channing Tatum's in
Jesus,
Are you?
wait, hold on.
Wait,
Time
isn't
out.
that why you're going? Isn't that why you're going? I know you keep saying Salma, but
Yeah, I think. So to the degree,
Hold on, he says
to the degree,
3D, you say Channing
yeah,
3D,
well,
and he's
it's
the
a
one
very
who's wrong?
confusing conversation. This conversation.
fucking with you. That's why I was like, are you gonna see it in 3D?
No. But to the degree where we literally had a conversation about this with my significant other, and we had a conversation about Selma Hayek, I have no problem admitting my admiration, my affection for the. I don't even know how to describe her. Like, what did you?
I would eat her pussy in front of my significant other. And I hope she would just watch and appreciate my cunnilingus, cunnilingual expertise.
Abilities, yeah, just like
listen, this is
well,
art.
she's like, yeah, you don't do that on me. I don't
This
know what the
is-
fuck's going on here. You don't do that on me.
You get down here too. It's fucking. It's the new
Why
family
not? Fuck
dynamic.
it.
Yeah, bro, she's got more money than all of us. So
Yeah, we were talking about
mortgage
Sister
on.
Wives before the podcast started. Yeah, this is
listen.
fine. Let's work it out.
Just like you switch that dynamic, right? If your significant other were like, yo, this is my famous my fucking person, like my celebrity crush or whatever,
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna go out on a date with
What are you
this
gonna
guy.
do? Hey.
Might fuck him. Like,
Hey,
god damn it.
yeah, it's a terrible day.
What are you gonna say? No? And she's gonna be like, well, I'm still gonna get dressed and
It's a
go.
terrible Monday, but
Yeah, it's not-
whatever.
Make sure he writes a check to her afterwards.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Pay me first.
Just make sure the direct deposit hits the account. That's the other joke you like to make, direct deposits. Just make sure the direct deposit makes it to the account.
Yeah, as long
We're
as
good
the
to go,
wire transfer clears.
Yeah, now it's wire transfer,
Whatever.
not
Yeah,
direct deposit.
we're more sophisticated now.
Yeah, right. I don't know if that's more sophisticated. I don't know. That's kind
You
of
direct deposit. That's when
it's
you
kind
get
of like
paid
one
from
A
your
and
job.
one B. Yeah.
Direct deposit when you get paid from your job
Yeah.
for work.
The wire is when they're saying
that's
some
like,
serious
listen, I'm
shit.
billing
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay,
That's an invoice. Yeah, we're trying
And
to pay
then
the
when you
invoice.
get real good, It's wire transfer to an account in the Cayman Islands, right?
Yeah.
No, that's when you're a piece of shit. That's when you that's when you're a
when you're
billionaire.
Andrew Tate level?
That's not anymore. That's it.
Yeah, right.
The
Listen.
enterprise has stopped.
Do I want an account in the Cayman Islands one day? Yes. Yes. I'll feel like a piece of shit at the bank drinking,
Mimosa.
fresh brewed. They literally just brought the beans in for the coffee that I'm drinking. These were harvested an hour ago. I'm a piece of shit. You withdraw
All right,
150,000 cash.
Magic Mike's Last Dance, and then somebody I used to know. This movie stars. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this. It stars Allison Brie and Jay Ellis. You remember Jay Ellis from Insecure? He was. He was. What's his name on Insecure?
Isn't the guy who looks like you?
I don't know that's the case, but no, I think you're thinking of the other dude, the dude who Issa stepped out on.
Yeah, Jay Ellis don't look like Tunde.
Yeah,
Or Tunde doesn't look like Jay Ellis.
I would say he looks more like you than me. Little light skinned boy.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like a Rain.
Yeah,
I can see it.
yeah. You got to squint a little harder to see that.
He's suave.
He's a little bit lighter. Who's the other dude? But keep going.
So, anyways, I don't know. This trailer kind of messed me up. So basically, it's like a guy invites basically his ex, who's Allison Brie. So Jay Ellis invites Allison Brie to his wedding, and in the trailer they imply hold on the twist in the plot. In the trailer they imply that not only does she try to get back sort of with him, she tries to hook up with his fiance.
It's a good movie.
What are we doing?
This can only happen once.
Only if I watch.
Yeah, I'm not just watching. You guys get started and I'm gonna come in and clap both of you, and then we'll go about our lives.
Yeah, that'd be some crazy shit at a fucking wedding. That's insane.
It's got to be before the wedding
Did you
because I
do
want to get married, and then you got that.
Oh my
Ugh,
god,
then you
what
got
are
the
we
liability.
doing? Yeah. Anyways, so that's coming out this week. Next week, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania comes out. Are we seeing it? Not seeing it? What are we doing? How are we feel?
Definitely going to see it.
Okay, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what makes you excited about it? Because I feel like people have different people kind of they say superhero fatigue or whatever the fuck they call it, whatever fatigue is like a real thing, and I feel like it's kind of settling in a little bit. Like I feel like Marvel properties ain't as hot as they used to, and maybe that's just me. Maybe the numbers speak different, and I'm just making shit up. But it just feels a little different to me. I don't know if the swag is there like it used to be. Like when the first Avengers just dropped, it was just like, I mean, there's nothing else. What else is in movies right now? Nothing's out in the theaters right now. That's all that's there. But Ant-Man and the Wasp was like, what else is out this week? Somebody I used to know. I'll go check that out. That's on Amazon.
I didn't love the second Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I don't even remember the movie. I don't remember like barely anything from either movie.
It wasn't incredible, but I do really like where this film is going. Being, obviously this is going. So we're getting. Here's the thing I like the most. I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
I read an article about Jonathan Majors' interview, and he was talking about the difference between
the dude right now.
Yeah, this guy can't fucking miss.
Yeah.
So in the article he was talking about the way in which Kang, this version of Kang that we're going to see,
different from
Loki,
He Who Remains.
From He Who Remains,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. So in the fucking what is it? The Quantum Realm.
The movie's called Quantumania, and
Yeah,
it's
but it's
also
the
called
Quantum
the
Realm.
Quantum Realm. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are many, many different versions of Kang, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one is it He Who Remains?
That we saw in Loki. Yeah.
Yeah, is, as far as I understand, not going to be the same guy we're going to get in Quantum.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that's obvious. Yeah.
That's really interesting to me, right?
Yeah.
Because He Who Remains was a very, very interesting character, and I think Kang is going to
yeah.
be a very different super villain as well.
Yeah.
Or he may not be as bad of a villain as we think he is.
I think he has to kind of show up and show out, because this kind of kicks off basically phase 4, 5.
I think it's 5.
Oh,
might
we
be
just
6.
finished phase 4. Yeah. No, you're
so
right.
it's
You're
phase
right.
5.
Phase
So
5.
that's what I really like. So we're kicking off a new phase with a new villain who
Is it phase 5? Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta look this up.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
anyway, so we're kicking off a new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with a villain from Loki, which when Kang or He Who Remains was introduced in Loki, that was one of my favorite characters. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is the guy. This is the guy at the end of time, right? And then now we're getting a different version of Kang the Conqueror, who, you know, if you follow the comic books, fucked a lot of
We're in
shit
phase
up.
5.
Fucked a lot of people up. This guy, right? Very powerful, and his power is not just in his like physical ability, right? His quantum mechanics and like the weapons he can create.
Like
His power is in his like
quantum mechanics.
knowledge.
Yeah.
So we're going from who's the villain? We're going from Loki, right?
Sure.
He was the initial villain in like phase 1, and then in phase 2, the villain was Ultron,
yeah.
and then phase 3 and 4, it was what?
I would argue that in those first 3 phases, the villain period was Thanos, because he was the person who was
Sure, but we didn't really
everything.
get Thanos until I think it was like phase 4 and
phase 3,
phase 3 and 4, right?
No, just phase 3.
Who's the villain in phase 4?
That's hard to say. It's an argument to be made. I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck's going on.
But
in
anyway,
phase
so
4.
like, now we went from like Loki, who was like devious and like tricky and sneaky, and then Ultron, who was just like power hungry and blah blah blah, and then Thanos, who wanted to destroy half the universe. Thanos was powerful and
Kang
intelligent.
the Conqueror.
is our current villain. Yeah.
Now Kang the Conqueror, he's
Addy,
like
do you want this last one?
No, you're good.
Okay.
now Kang, you know, he is this like other world, like similar to Thanos, but very different in terms of his like purpose and his like vision and his mission, right? So I like that this new phase is kicking off with a new villain that, like Thanos, has a greater and higher purpose, at least on the surface. I think this is going to be a great villain for the MCU. I like the new characters that are going to be introduced. I like the people that are remaining. There's just a lot of really good things that I think is going to happen in this next phase of the MCU, and it's going to kick off here. And I like where it's kicking off.
I would punctuate that with I hope.
I hope. Yep.
I hope. Right? Because phase 4, I don't know what I was expecting in phase 4, but it did not live up to anything that I was expecting it to be. Not that I was really expecting it to be. I
Does
didn't really
phase
have any
4
expectations.
consist of like the shows as well?
Yeah,
I feel like we
that's
got
basically a lot of the shows. Yeah,
I feel
we're
like
in phase 4.
phase
yeah,
4
sure.
we got a lot of really good shows.
Good shows.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Okay show. Okay
Loki.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And Loki was. I thought Loki was pretty good. We
Loki was
got.
good. I didn't love WandaVision.
I know.
And
I know
She-Hulk
that.
was-
She-Hulk was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie.
Boy.
And the problem with She-Hulk is I tried so hard. I wanted to like it so
Yeah.
much. And
I think
just-
She-Hulk tried too hard. The show, the creators of the show, the writers, I think they tried too hard.
Yeah, but the Miss Lani, fuck, what's her name?
The actress?
Tatiana Mislani, I believe is her name. Great, love her. I've loved her since Parks and Rec. That's the first time I ever saw her. Loved her since then.
I didn't like her in She-Hulk because I don't think it was
I
her
liked,
fault.
Yeah, I liked her in She-Hulk. I didn't like She-Hulk. I didn't like the show.
Yeah.
But I liked
would agree
her
with
in
that.
it. Yeah. Yeah. So I would argue, yeah, Phase 4 was kind of a dud for me, and and also too, we're forgetting about. So there was Loki, Moon Knight. Which I thought was a highlight.
Oh,
I thought it was a
fucking
highlight.
Moon Knight
I thought it
was
was a highlight.
incredible, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a highlight. But now that I even reflect back on Moon Knight, I'm like, was it really that good, or were all the shows really that subpar that I was kind of elevating the show? That
No, I think it was really that good.
I think
Moon Knight was really that good.
I think Moon Knight had a lot of good moments. I don't know if the whole thing was like that good.
Yeah.
it was a good show.
I like the complexity behind it. I mean, even still, like if you look
Yeah.
at the comic books,
Yeah.
still making it shit all up. Like it's all fake.
No. I know it's all fake.
construct
What I'm
of his
saying is,
mind, or it's real. We don't know. That's the great thing about that character.
yeah, fair enough. All right, let's move on from Marvel. To
Hey,
more
super
Marvel.
Quick. Super quick Tunde.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a show last week.
Sure.
But I mentioned this the last time I was here before I took my, Mr. International trip.
Your sabbatical, yeah.
Sabbatical, yeah. I told you that 90s show
Are you from
was
Texas?
not only going to be successful, it's going to be top 5, and it's going to get a season 2. And as of last week, it was confirmed.
Yeah.
Top 5 in 35 countries, season 2 confirmed.
I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
Hilarious.
That 90s
Hilarious.
show is
I
going to be
loved it.
successful.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
I don't know why. What would you say is the lead driver for it being successful?
Everyone loves the
nostalgia,
90s.
man. Yeah.
It's
That's what it
nostalgia.
is.
I
It was
watched
a
I watched
great
so many
decade.
clips of it. I haven't even watched an episode, but I watched so many clips of it. What about it screams 90s?
I mean, I think it's more like white suburban 90s, but like, you know, it's still.
I would argue it's
Yeah,
still
look,
that
it's-
70s, 90s.
It's a new set design. Obviously, make it more 90s. Like they basically moved all the furniture from the living room into the basement and updated the living room with 90s stuff. You got introduction to the internet with Kitty trying to use the internet and thinking President Bill Clinton is
Yeah,
spying
you're going to
on
get
her.
so much 90s flavor.
Yeah, but
Yeah, man,
what I'm trying to do,
Tamagotchis,
what I'm
you
trying to
know,
say is that I think the reason why I didn't think it would be top 5 is because, for one, they came out with that 80s show and it was a colossal failure, right? So
Oh, yeah,
that kind of
terrible.
like led me
Horrible.
into it.
Didn't
But then
last 3 episodes.
Damn, they came out with that? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
exactly.
3 episodes.
So that kind of led me into that. But then 2, I think what I was saying to myself is I don't know what the appetite really is for
Clearly, there was one.
these characters, or do we just not? What else? What else is? Can I ask what else is on that list of shows that smack right now? Did you see?
No, I just only looked up.
Okay. And
season 2
this
from the
was-
90s.
Was this time based? Meaning that if I looked at top 5 shows right now, would this not
Yeah,
be
it's
on the list?
top 10 right now. So
Top 10.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, go ahead and do that for a second. But I think
Go
what
ahead, go ahead.
what my argument is that I don't. he's got it. What my argument is. Oh, you got to go. Okay. Okay. What my argument is that 90s show isn't really much of a. It's not. It's with new characters with kid. What the fuck was that? Okay. It's new characters in terms of it's got Eric's daughter and Kelso's daughter, or son.
Son, yeah.
And then I guess Fez just pops up randomly and he ain't doing shit.
He's doing a lot.
Is he though?
You gotta watch the show.
Okay. But what my argument is that it's not, they're not recreating, like they are recreating something. They're not like improving on it or making it new, making it different. It's just that 70s show with 90s shit sprinkled in and without, I think I don't know. I think the problem with these reboot shows is that you get these kids who don't really have a connection to like that 90s show. I guess I'm sorry. What I'm trying to sum this up as is who is their actual like audience for the show. I think that's the thing that throws me off the most amongst all the things I could say about why I thought it would be not a great show or why I thought it wouldn't be top 5. Who are they trying to who are they appealing to? They're not appealing to that 70s show people because it's like they tune in for like the first episode when Kelso and them show up and Foreman and them show up. Cool. I ain't checking the shit out past that, right? Are they appealing to kids now? Because that's a tough sell. And then on top of that, are they appealing to people who were kids when the show came out? Because I would argue there's so much content that why are they looking forward to this particular thing? But that's my hesitation for saying it's top of. I proven wrong.
No, I got you. I got you what you're saying. And I would say that the appetite is definitely for the people who have watched that 70s show. And yes, you're going to have those people who do absolutely 100% hate it. I've talked to several people of those, but I actually look through it of the lens as rather than a reboot, it is more of a continuation than anything else because you are getting that next generation from the original cast, and it's not even that the original cast is just sprinkled into it. They do feature a lot in all 8 or 10 of those episodes, however many it was. Looking at the dynamic breakdown, it's primarily 25 to 34 year olds who are watching the show. There is a small amount of teenagers and preteens that the statistics are saying, but it is a 25 to 34 year olds.
So basically, people who were kids when that 70s show came out.
Yeah, exactly. And who were teenagers. So now they're seeing that continuation of it.
Yeah.
And I like it, man. It was cute. It was quirky. It was fun. I love the 90s references.
Is it done? Was it put out all at once? And
Yeah. I watched it while I was in France.
Yeah, I might check it out.
Yeah.
Let's be
It
real.
was nice. I mean, it takes a little bit, and like the jokes aren't as like in your face as they were with.
And that's okay. I'm sorry. 1B along with my 1A of why I didn't think it would do. It's because I didn't think that 70s show was honestly that funny. Like I thought it was.
I didn't think that
I thought it
70s show was that
mid
funny
at
either.
best. Yeah.
But I thought it like, I get why people love it. It makes sense. It came out at the right time. It had the right cast of people. It was like funny and quirky and just like it was interesting. I didn't love it. I didn't like fucking live and die for it. I'm not like
I
sitting
view
in
it
front
the
of the
same
TV
way
every
I
night.
view Friends, which is, was it on? Did I watch sometimes? Sure.
Yeah.
Did I find anything
Yeah.
there truly deeply funny? Nah.
And honestly, because
sure.
it's
Yeah, that's a very good
simulcasted
reference.
in so many countries on basic cable television where everybody could get it, like you
Yeah.
plug your TV in,
Yeah.
WB was on, CW,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the hell it was called back then.
Yeah,
Like it was how I learned English.
Is-
And
okay,
when I first-
well, you have a
Ally
different
McBeal
relationship. That's
and
fair
that
enough.
70s show. That's how I learned English.
Okay,
That's
so for
a
you,
different
it's very
relationship
nostalgic. Oh, yeah,
than
absolutely,
my relationship with
100%.
it. But I would say Eddie Griffin said the funniest shit the other day. I was watching it was like a clip on whatever, and he was talking about how like oh my god, now I'm gonna forget the actual quote that he had, but it was something to the degree of like like he was talking about basically UPN and shit, and how like basically black I guess creators or whatever artists actors actresses, they made that channel, and as soon as it became something they just sold it. And like that's like the usual shit that they do, right? So the black artists come in and they fucking pump the shit up, make it hot, and then they just either dump the network or they just wipe everybody out and say, "Oh, well, it's hot." Except,
Yeah, I mean,
these Bridgerton people.
that's kind of what happened. Like you look at it happens in the music industry too. Like a small record label gets started with like small local like rap artists, and then like Capitol Records be like, "Yeah, we want to buy this."
Yeah,
We
and then it gets
love
fucking
Little
washed
Baby.
up. Yeah, I don't.
Which is literally what just happened. This guy Scooter Braun, I think, who like manages or owns Taylor Swift's catalog. He just bought like Quality Control.
Who the fuck is Scooter Braun? He's
Scooter Braun is like
Who's this guy?
fucking guy who's just, I guess he's just made all the right moves in the music industry and just fucking just got a shit
white?
ton of money. White dude. I think he's just made all the right moves. I don't know where he got his money from, but like at one point he like bought Taylor Swift's entire like catalog and it was a huge corp. I think he like manages Drake or something like that. And then he just bought Quality Control Music, which is like Lil Yachty, Lil
I think
Baby,
he,
like Migos, like all those motherfuckers.
Wasn't he the guy who brought Bieber to Usher? Like on a no strings, like kind of like, hey, perform in front of Usher. We'll see where this kind of goes.
Maybe. So I know
I
like
think that's
the
what he-
story
that's
goes,
what he
Usher
did.
found a video of Justin Bieber on like YouTube
news.
or something like that.
Fake
Fake
news.
news. Fake news. Usher did not find that video.
It was like Scooter
I'm
Braun that
fairly
introduced him.
certain it was Scooter. Let me look it up real quick.
He was right in the middle of 1807, whatever the fuck it was called.
What is that?
His album, the hottest. What?
Oh no, it was
With Usher?
It was the Confessions. It was his hottest
The
album.
Confessions might have been the hottest album. The one with the hottest track.
was his
which
like
we
original?
play.
Yeah.
Still is very anytime. What's the track you want to play? Whenever you get over a relationship,
You make me
just,
wanna.
You
No,
make me
what the
wanna
fuck?
be the one.
Are you both drunk right now?
That's
No,
like
no,
one of his
I
biggest
agree.
songs.
That's-
What?
yeah.
No, I
You
know
make
that's-
me want to leave the one.
I
I'm
know
with,
that's one of his
start
biggest
doing
songs.
shit
What's the
with you.
song you
Yeah.
play when you're trying to get over? Are you kidding me right now?
I mean, I play nice and slow all the
not-
time.
You
My
don't
Way?
have to call. Are you guys?
Nah, that's not.
What?
Yes, yes.
fucking
Okay, if
Are
you're
you
getting,
serious?
yeah, you
Dope,
have to
That's
call. I get
Usher's
it.
like biggest song.
That's not it.
No, I'm not saying it's his biggest song, but I'm saying it's the quintessential song for when you're getting over a relationship. It's done.
Yeah, but that's
Nah,
just
see,
just that.
you gotta have another
quintessential
joint
song for
lined
that,
up,
though,
and it's just
man.
like you made me
Yeah,
want to
but that
leave the one
happens-
I'm with, start
I mean,
a
like,
relationship
Which
with
one?
you.
Okay, whatever. You guys are ruined. By,
I agree with Lorraine.
yeah,
You made me
I
I
want
don't
to.
fucking
Is
care.
the
I don't know what the
song?
fuck
You're
you guys
talking
are. You guys are the.
And, like,
as soon as that fucking,
Bedtime
as soon as
with
the
Babyface?
Neptunes, the do. As soon as that joint kick in, are you kidding me?
I get it, but it's not better
When
than
he's in the
You Make Me
SUV,
Wanna.
go.
No,
Come on,
I get it,
You
man.
guys
He's
are
going up to
fucking-
that
you
nice
guys are
party
fucking up
and
right now.
everything, going to the elevator, dancing in the
Christ.
parking
Look,
lot. I
let's
get
just-
it.
You've made made me so upset. I'm
And
moving
look,
on to the
That's
next
your
thing.
favorite
Braun-
Usher song. I
I'm
can't believe
moving.
it.
I'm moving on.
According to Wikipedia, Braun became involved with Justin Bieber and got his mom to bring her son to Atlanta for a no strings attached trial period. Eventually, Braun convinced him to move there permanently to the United States. Both Usher and Justin Timberlake expressed interest.
Wait,
yada yada.
Am I
yada.
just finding
He
out
got them involved?
Justin Bieber's fucking Canadian?
Yeah, you
What?
didn't know that?
What the fuck's up with all
Yeah,
these?
you should
Canadians,
stop
dude?
talking music, man.
Yeah. You don't know shit about music, apparently. God damn.
Fuck both.
Take
of
it
you.
nice
How
and
about
slow,
that?
Tunde. Take it nice
Fuck.
and slow.
Just shut up.
Yeah, you got that.
I know enough about music to know what that was a reference to. All right, let's move on to some a little bit of headlines here. So Spider-Man Noir just got announced. I know you put it on the list. What you just tell me a little bit about what's going on with Spider-Man Noir.
So you remember Spider-Man Noir was introduced in fucking
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, right? One of, in my opinion, Pig Spider-Man was great too, but Spider-Man Noir was one of the coolest looking, most interesting characters, right?
Yeah,
Black
he's
and
super
white
interesting.
Spider-Man.
Super interesting,
You know,
yeah.
he had the Spider-Man, he had the mask, he had the costume, but underneath that like 1920s
Yeah.
detective, you know, trying to take down the mob-esque like look and feel. So the interesting thing about this is going to be a live action series that is in the works at Amazon. So just to read a little excerpt here, the Untitled series will follow an older grizzly superhero in the 1930s New York, an individual with knowledge of the project. Individual with knowledge of the project says that the show will be set in its own universe and the main character will not be Peter Parker.
Interesting.
So
I think that's the part that I find
Yeah.
most interesting about it is that we're not going to get a Peter Parker centric story. Which, honestly speaking, if I'm being honest, I think we're cooling on Peter a little. Just give me. I like the Spider-Man content. Just not. Let's. We've heard all we need to hear about Peter.
Yeah.
Let's hear some other voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's like part of the reason why people love Spider-Man and Enter the Multiverse so much is that you got several different Spider-Mans. You've got what was the girl's name from the other universe?
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen. Was it Gwen?
I mean, there was a Gwen Stacy.
It was Gwen.
From the
You
other
got
universe.
Spider-Man Noir. You got the Pig Spider-Man. What was the other one? There was the older one, like the drunken,
I
disgruntled
think that was
one.
just still Peter.
That was Peter.
Yeah.
And wasn't there like a whole nother Spider-Man? It was like
There's Spider-Man
So the Pig, Noir,
2099 or something.
the futuristic
like that.
Spider-Man. So like it introduced a whole bunch of different types of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Different genders, different fucking one was a pig. And like again, Spider-Man Noir, one of the coolest things that you can actually take and make a live action. I think the black and white is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think
And I'm interested about that
style of
story
Spider-Man.
too, like
yeah.
a noir type of Spider-Man. That's an interesting type of
1930s
story,
in New York, like
For sure.
very, very, very interesting.
100%.
So I just like the fact that this project, it looks like it's in the it is in the works at Amazon. I'm not sure when we know where, but I'm not sure when we're going to get it. But to your point, I like the Spider-Man character, but we are a little bit stale on Peter. You know, let someone else
move
don
on,
this mantle, and then let's see, like maybe there's richer story to be told, or just different story.
Yeah.
But the central of the character being Spider-Man and like those amazing, fantastical powers.
Yeah. Really looking forward to it. Just like you said,
I feel like stylistically, it's gonna look really good too.
it's going. Yeah, I think it's going to be clean. And it's going to be a live action, which means they're going to be able to. I think for as much as the animated sort of noir Spider-Man was cool, I think doing a live action one can present they can present that a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
That can be really interesting.
Give me one or two actors who should 1000% not play this role.
Not play the role?
Not play, because we can talk all day about who we think we should.
I can give you a 18,000 list of who should not play this. Somebody who we're going to watch in a trailer a little bit from now. I don't fucking want Ben Affleck, Spider-Man Noir. Like, what are we doing? No. The actors who I want to play him. I think that's a better question
Because that's too boring. Everyone does that.
boring?
Who shouldn't play this role? I'm looking at.
I guess state why you think the person shouldn't play.
So I'm just looking at a list of like fucking actors who who would
Scooter
be
Braun
terrible
was
for this
marketing-
fucking role.
Okay.
Like fucking what's this guy's name? He was in Drive.
Jason Statham.
No,
Drive. Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen shouldn't play Spider-Man.
I don't think he's
Noir.
playing anybody these days. Yeah, I don't.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, well, he's also 3,000 years old.
Bruce Willis.
He's a mummy, basically. Bruce Willis. Well, Jesus Christ, you're naming all the people.
You know who
with,
might
like
you know who might be good for this?
Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf.
that would be fucking interesting.
That would be interesting. Shia LaBeouf.
See, I told you it'd be better to go with who we think should play him versus who we don't think should. Shia LaBeouf would be. Look, Shia LaBeouf, deservedly, I think gets a bad rap. I think it's well earned.
Yeah.
No matter what you might say about him, I feel like he earns his bad rap. I don't think he.
Shia LaBeouf is that friend you have who's like, I know this guy.
You don't want to go to the club with him or the bar because he will fuck it up. Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But he's an interesting dude. You don't want to leave him in the dirt.
He's my friend.
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
It's a terrible excuse we give people.
Yeah, no.
That's fucking horrible. But fucking who was it? Oh yeah, Ashton Kutcher should not play.
No, I don't. No, I don't think anybody's looking for Ashton Kutcher. Doesn't Ashton Kutcher look different nowadays to you than he used to? He looks weird now, right? Like when I saw him in Addy, feel free to jump in. When he was in that 90 show, he doesn't look like Ashton anymore.
30 years old.
Nah.
No. I know he's 30.
almost died.
Did he?
Yeah, when he had like a fucking like a rare disease, it almost killed him.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Do you know what it was? Or?
No, I don't know what the exact disease was called, but there was a point in time where like he was literally like on his deathbed.
All right.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
bad.
he has a super rare form of vasculitis that knocked out his vision, his hearing, and his equilibrium.
Wow. I'm gonna pretend like I know what
Wasn't it also
vasculitis
like
is.
wasn't he like fucking like really really sick at one point?
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's-
he was,
I think that's
he
what
was
that
like
is,
in the
yeah.
hospital in the bedridden, like he couldn't do
Yeah,
anything.
you probably look a little bit dead.
But I've seen him in
Different.
like a lot of different stuff because he does a lot of investing. So he's been like on
Yeah, he's a
Shark
huge
Tank
investor.
and other stuff. So
Yeah.
like I've seen him in media over the years.
No, Ashton
not in,
Kutcher's
like, acting.
he's got an
capacities.
insane amount of money.
Yeah, it's
Like
crazy.
he's got like I think his
From
net
what?
worth is like just
From
investing,
Punk'd?
like Uber, early Uber.
Oh, shit, he
Robinhood.
did. Yes. Okay,
he
this is
was
true, this is
he's
true.
been-
I know this.
He's
I know
been
this.
a great investor in a lot
Yeah.
of shit back in the day that like
Yeah.
now is worth like billions.
250.
250?
That's
$250
I thought it was
million?
way higher than that.
250 right now.
No, he's got the account in the Caymans.
What's way high? Yeah,
we don't even know. In the Caymans is way higher.
He
More in like
said,
the $400 or $500 million range.
He turned 30 million into 250.
Hey man, fuck it.
Get
Why
money.
not?
That's why I love Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
You know who definitely should, and this is the last one, who 100% should play Spider-Man Noir. I'm going to tell Jeff Bezos this personally when I see him. Nick Cage.
Honestly, if I'm
He's
being,
an older,
if I,
disgruntled
no,
Spider-Man.
if I'm, you said honestly, who shouldn't play him?
who should.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I know we were talking
he'd be
about who
kind of
shouldn't.
hot as a fucking Spider-Man Noir.
Older, disgruntled Spider-Man who smokes chain smokes cigarettes.
That might slap a little bit. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Wait, if I'm thinking about somebody who's older who can play a Spider-Man Noir, you know who I think might not get the push, but I think they might fucking slay it as
Donald
a fucking
Glover should do it.
no.
yeah, absolutely.
Donald Glover is, no offense, one of the most talented people in history, right?
For sure.
But they put him
stand up.
They put him in anything that's like, oh, this is quirky. Let's put Donald Glover in it. You know?
Yeah.
This is weird. Let's put Donald Glover. I'm tired of it. Just I get it. He's the weird, quirky guy. You don't have to put him in everything. Okay.
Riz Ahmed too. I think he'd be pretty good.
Oh, he'd be nice. Yeah. Oh, he would make.
Oh, wait, no, but this is 1930s. No.
Yeah, he couldn't pass.
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
The only person who could play this role is either like a white actor who could, but he's also wearing the suit. So
No, I'm gonna propose somebody who, check me out here. Don Cheadle. Fuck with me.
Ooh.
Fuck with me.
Ooh. Do it.
Well, what am I
Do
doing?
it. Pull the trigger.
Listen.
Are we doing it?
Do it.
I don't know. This is 1930s in New York. Black man
that
can't be
could work.
running around
No.
New York City at night.
No,
red slinging. They
that
got to
could- they
work in
could
the morning.
still- no, they can
Orain,
see it.
Orain. If anybody,
Trust me, I see where you guys are going.
Orain, if
I think Don
anybody
Cheadle would
can
be great.
walk around 1930s New York City, it's Don Cheadle.
Yeah, Don
You know
Cheadle.
that.
Don Cheadle would have been.
That's the man.
He'd have been. They'd have been like, no, all the rest of you niggas, nah.
Yeah,
That guy right there.
I don't know. He was.
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, what do we need to do?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's without a doubt. But all right, let's
start watching Marvel again.
Fair enough. Let's move on. Let's get into Penn Bagley talking about he wanted to do less sex scenes in You season 4. I gotta catch up. I've been late to the game. Honestly, I barely watched season 2. Didn't watch season 3, and obviously season 4 just came out. I got to get back into it. But Penn Bagley, how do you feel about this? He's basically saying, "Hey, look, man, my wife been looking at me sideways since I've been fucking pumping and dumping him on set. We might have to cut some scenes in season 4. How do you feel about this? Correct move, incorrect move, simp move? What are we doing? What are we moving with this?"
I admire the fact that he's a person who has a relationship and has a marriage outside of Hollywood, and he's like, you know what, like there are things that I'm willing to do. There are things that my partner and I, we've discussed it, we've talked about it, and we've agreed that in our what works for our relationship is to not do those things, right? Yeah. And he's man enough to be like, hey, like I'm going to respect my partner. Yeah, and I think that's really all it comes down to is respect. I'm an actor. That's what I do for work.
Can I ask you a question?
If this, I wouldn't have done it. I'd have been like, bitch, I'm getting this money. What are you talking about?
Question
They got me.
Addy, I didn't even get the question.
They got me opposite Megan Good in this upcoming movie.
Megan Good.
I'm trying to
Mia Long. Just keep naming.
Listen, we're gonna film this.
Selma Hayek just came on set. What do you want me to do?
I was in talks to be in, fucking what is that movie?
I was gonna be in Spider-Man Noir.
Clapping 1930s cheeks. But no. But my real answer is the fact that I do like that, he is, because, what you do for work it's not your entire life, right? Yeah. Like clearly outside of acting and the film industry, whatever, he and his partner, they found each other, they love each other, they've made that commitment to get married. So it's like, don't let your work, ask fucking, who's the guy from Yellowstone? Fucking Connor or
Kevin
Costner. Ask him. Which is why he's taking a step back from filming in Yellowstone.
Oh wait, what happened with that? I don't know.
So the filming Yellowstone has required that he be on set for in Colorado or whatever for literally months at a time. Yeah. And similar thing with Tom Brady and his wife. The marriage is failing because you're just not here. You know what I mean?
You're also not posting semi dick pics on.
Well, that was Instagram. After the divorce. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
But a lot of times with actors or professional athletes, you're required to be on the road. You might be in another fucking country for months at a time. Yeah. And that does take a toll on your family. Yeah. So I do respect the fact that Penn Bagley is you know what, my marriage is important to me, just like my work. I'm not going to let one destroy the other if I can find a way to balance the two. So we just have less sex. We can keep doing the show. We just have less sex scenes, You know what? I'm not hitting it from the back next season.
You make a good just point, talking. There are actors who have done this that were at the top of their career, and one notable one is what's it? The guy from Varsity Blues. Not
James
Varsity Blues. No. The Faculty. Josh Hartnett.
Oh, Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
At the top of his career, was getting all kinds of different roles, and decided to give it all up so that way he could raise his 2 children because they were getting to an age where they realized that their dad was away for months at a time, wife was alone. He decided to step away. Now he's coming back into acting again because his kids are going off to university. They're they're getting older and everything. So it makes sense. I 100% agree with that. Yeah. If you have that kind of a relationship where you're like, hey, my partner's not comfortable with this, or even you yourself, he might not just even be comfortable with it. Be like, hey, I just pretended like I clapped cheeks with this girl, and now I'm gonna come home and
I got Addie saying clapping cheeks.
I learned,
it's a universal term. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say it in French, but it wouldn't sound right.
No.
That might have sounded more poetic.
Yeah. Save that for when we get over that.
Wait. What would it be in French?
I have no idea.
Oui.
Yeah, you gotta learn that.
Oui, clap cheek.
Clap cheek. We're fucking idiots.
I gotta figure this
out. Okay, so here's the thing. I respect it, right? Because you're essentially putting your relationship first.
Applauded diges.
There you go. You said it with semi-confidence. I guess I believe you. But
Applaudir, I don't think you pronounce like
Yeah.
des. Applaudir,
okay, well, yeah. Well, I would have believed you if you would have said anything. You could have
Slap
said
them
piece
cheeks.
of shit. I'd
Yeah.
have been like, okay, I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Probably fucking 1,000% wrong, but as long as you say it with confidence,
Yeah, that's what I thought until you didn't pronounce it with confidence.
That's why I couldn't get around in France. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, people are like clapping
It was gonna
cheeks.
be weird.
Someone's wife is like,
See me in the back, 15 minutes.
say, like they
Baguettes.
just do that.
Like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Meet me at the cafe. Don't be late.
So I respect the move, right?
We're not gonna get any listens in France.
No. We're
zero.
not. Yeah, this is
the one
classic.
listener. Pierre's
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
cannot. I can no more.
No. In like 5 months, this will be hot in France. When they get it, it's got to
syndicated.
circulate. Yeah, so I respect the move. I think the thing that I sort of struggle with in this specific story is that he's done the show for 3 years, right? And they're on the 4th season. And he's like, can you guys tone it down a bit? I think the thing I struggle with that is that I feel like the subject matter for the show might matter a little bit more than the sex scenes. Follow me now. That I understand in terms of his relationship, like these actual intimate scenes, right? But is it like, because I've always found the show creepy in and of itself, right? Just like a dude who basically just stalks and kills women. But like the intimacy is the thing that we have the issue with in the show. Like that's the thing that's causing the issue, not that he basically seduces and then kills women. Like that's fine. I know that's make believe, but pretending to clap cheeks, that's the thing.
Well, you're
I'm just
saying we have the issue. It's he has the issue.
No. That I'm saying that as him, like that's as a couple.
But it's his personal.
No,
issue of his wife.
But I guess that's
Clearly
what I'm
not killing his wife.
No. That's what I'm saying is that I find it interesting that that's what the issue is in a relation. Does that make sense? Like it's not that honestly, I don't even take issue with the thing overall. It's do what you got to do for the sake of your relationship. But I just, for as creepy as the show is, because I don't know if we've ever seen a show like this, right? Where the dude just, especially in today's day and age, to just stalk and kill women. And then we're just like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next season. I feel like that's like we might be. I don't know. I might be stretching.
Well, America.
Let me know if I'm stretching.
America has an obsession with serial killers. We love this shit. I mean, look at the other show, Dahmer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We fucking not we. I didn't watch that shit.
Yeah.
But and like especially women. Women love like these types of shows and movies. Like the number one viewer of what is it, like those like. The shows about the wife who kills the husband, like In Love and Murder, and like all that, like that stuff is really created and geared towards women. If you look at the trials for some of these serial killers, like the more attractive ones throughout history, Dahmer, who was the other guy that
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, who's the actor who played him?
Oh, what's his name? The dude who fucked up his face, Zac Efron,
right? Like women, like love these very attractive serial killers, right? Doesn't really matter what they did. Hey, he killed 12 women brutally,
sure,
but he's handsome, right? So like, you know, the reason why people don't have a issue with the show and like what Joe is doing is because Penn Badgley is a handsome actor, right? He looks good doing it. So it's like, I don't care what he's doing. Looks good doing it.
But I'm not talking about like the people, as I understand why the stupid audience loves the show, right? Like I get that. I think what I'm talking about is specifically for the couple. It's like,
you mean like for he and his wife in real life?
Yeah, and again, I take no issue with the fact that he's saying this is something that I have to do for my relationship. I think the thing I struggle with is like, well, which one? Like I wonder if she watches the show, because I wonder if that's what the issue is.
Of course, she watches the show.
Okay, so if you watch the show, the thing you take issue with is your husband, you know, being in these.
He's not really killing any of these women, right? But what he is,
he ain't really clapping
doing,
cheeks. Like,
but he's really like kissing them. He's really like, you know, being intimate and, you know, undressed and in bed with them, right? Now, seasons 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna throw a huge curveball out here. Seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
His love interest.
No. Don't. No. I want to watch it.
Well, this is not a huge spoiler.
Don't ruin it, man.
And if you haven't watched it, that's your fucking fault.
I know it's my fault. I still want to. Fine. Whatever.
I'm not going to ruin anything.
Fine.
Seasons 1, 2, and 3, his love interests were white women. Season 4, it's Tati Gabrielle who plays Marianne
Technically,
Bellamy.
it's part of season 3 because he starts.
Sure,
not to spoil anything.
But he didn't. He didn't clap cheeks in season 3. He may or may not clap cheeks in season 4.
I mean, did it really happen?
She is his obsession and his love interest, right? So, I'm just gonna play just because I want to be messy. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
No.
I'm gonna.
I can tell you why.
I'm gonna abstain. I don't know.
And
I'm not saying
Neither
that
do
I think.
I.
I'm not gonna say that I think of anything of Penn Badgley or his wife, for instance. Like they could be
I'm not
salty.
gonna lie though.
Yeah.
That girl is beautiful.
Fucking
Yeah,
Yeah,
mean,
no,
she's
wouldn't that
gorgeous.
lend to what we're saying?
kill both of you
Here's
to clap her.
Here's why I don't think it's as much of a issue for the wife. If you, how do I put this? So like, in me and my relationship, would it be easier to envision my partner murdering me or my partner cheating on me? And then when you see it play out on screen, you're like, oh, this is like a fantasized thing where, murder is like, especially to his character, it's very like almost like romanticized.
You're into
Addy,
that
I'm going to give you
consensual
I'm gonna
non-consent.
give you-
Maybe she has a murder
I'm going to
fantasy.
give you a
What-
fucking award. That is a hot question.
What?
Murder or cheat on? Would your partner murder or cheat
And
on
then
you?
look, in
Wait,
reality,
is the question, what
in
would you prefer?
reality is-
No.
in reality-
What do you think your partner would do?
In reality, I
sorry.
think the partner would probably envision a scenario where cheating would happen before any kind of crazy murder would happen.
Yeah.
Depends on the
Especially
relationship.
because
You didn't take
you're
out the
around
trash.
beautiful women. And look, when you get to season 3, you'll know that's a
Yeah.
gorgeous woman, man. I mean, I was looking at her like, damn, like, that's nice.
man.
That's nice.
Addy was fucking
That
with Bill
caramel
O'Reilly.
complexion,
The
it
win.
looked nice.
Listen,
He was watching that Red Soup at the same time.
I was. Follow her on Instagram. She doesn't have an OnlyFans though.
listen. If my significant other was like, oh, she's doing a movie, and it's like, oh, she's got a fucking kiss, like who's a not very Nick Nolte or something like that, or fucking,
It's so hilarious that
Ron
you use
Perlman,
Nick
you know what I
Nolte.
mean? Oh shit! I googled unattractive male actors. They have Don Cheadle on the list at 25. But if my significant
Why
other
is Don
had to-
Cheadle on the list?
I don't know. If my significant other had to kiss
Wait, that's fucked
Luis
up, dude.
Guzman or something like that,
you
Gary
can't-
Busey,
There
I'm
can't
like,
be
all
a
right, whatever.
fucking list that has Don
Who wrote that
Cheadle.
list?
They also
Who
have
wrote it?
Tyrese Gibson on here.
No,
Who's a-
that's
who's a-
no. It's
who's
trash.
a male
That's a
actor.
mess.
It's trash.
That's a mess one.
It's trash. Yeah, it's trash.
Tyrese
list.
was
Trash list.
literally a model for Calvin Klein.
What else do you want?
Yeah.
As Tyrese would say, what do you want from me?
Yeah, this list is not great.
It's not. We're not winning with this list.
So
I would say,
at 46, we've got Paul Dano. 47, we got Michael Cera. Then we got like Rupert Grint, who played the kid from.
I mean, what are they looking for here? Like, what
Yeah,
do we? What's it? Okay.
I mean, listen, there are a bunch of guys on here I wouldn't fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole list.
yeah, okay. Got weird there for a second.
Except for Ian
but yeah.
McShane,
Ian McShane.
Grizzly man.
I don't even know who the fuck
I'm
that
kidding.
is.
He's from fucking John Wick. Remember, he was like the
still don't
older
know who
dude
that
who
is.
was like John Wick's.
They say he's unattractive.
Yeah.
He's like, first of all, he's like.
Well,
90.
yeah, I think they're saying he's unattractive at like 68, which is like,
Yeah, but what are we doing there?
trying to get
I feel like the
sexiest man
ship
alive.
has sailed. Yeah.
Who's number 1 on that list? And
Jack
name the site.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson? Okay, I
Jack,
can see that.
but young Jack.
Young Jack
Kind of
was
handsome. Kind of a handsome
a
dude.
decent looking guy, I feel like.
Handsome dude.
Yeah, they put Robin
what
Williams
list
as
is
number
this?
2.
What's
which
like-
is
Robin
fucked up.
Williams?
He's dead.
Well, I mean, okay, but
This list was created in 2012.
I mean, it's still a trash list for 2012.
Let's see who. I want to see the person who put this list. Oh, of course, it's Sky Gunn.
Who the fuck is
Sky?
Sky Gunn?
It's SYKE. It could be a female or it could be like a dude from
No,
Norway.
yeah, trash. They're trash.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. All right,
He has no photo here, so let's take a look at you. Sky.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why they have no photo. Let's move on quickly here. I'm gonna get these just super quick. Roseanne Barr said being fired from ABC was terrifying and a message to commit suicide. Basically, for those who don't remember, basically Roseanne was summarily fired from Roseanne, and it basically shut down Roseanne and started the Connors because she tweeted, I guess, what people perceived to be a racist comment. And I say perceived with.
What was it again? What'd she say?
Hold on, let me pull up the actual comment. She was fired from Roseanne.
And she also has a new show coming out, right? Called like Cancel This or something.
Jarrett. She does, yeah, and I suppose that's why she's in the headlines again.
And the show is going to be on Fox Nation.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only place she can kind of go to. I think Roseanne seems just like generally an unstable person. Like, take the racist shit out and like all that's kind of going on with her. I feel like this clearly fucked her up, but I feel like there were definitely issues there prior to, and she like blamed her comments on like, I was on Ambien or whatever the fuck it was. It was like,
I was on an everyday drug.
Makes you.
I was on vitamin C. Like,
racist.
Wait, does that help your immune system not make you racist?
Yeah, I don't know if that just like makes you wake up. Like, I guess I'm racist now. Like, I don't know if that's how that happens.
I think if you get vitamin C at Harris Teeter, that might make you racist.
Hold on, I'm trying to find her comments after the canceled.
You gotta be faster with this.
I'm trying, dude. Jesus,
we gotta get out of
here. She would tweet stuff, apologize. Fuck, they don't. BC. I think that's the problem with all these articles is that they have 8,000 words and they have to like fill shit out. So instead of just giving me the comments, it gives me a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah,
but basically she was talking about
lead. That's what my English teacher used to tell me.
Hold on, let's see if Variety does any better. That she said Valerie Jarrett, who worked in Obama's White House, I think, looked like a Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. That's how she referred to Valerie Jarrett.
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Yeah, that's
like,
pretty. I feel like that's pretty explicit.
That's very direct.
Pretty explicit. I mean, you got the Muslim in there, and then to boot, you have Planet of the Apes.
She like,
I feel like that's pretty. Yeah. You pretty much double down. But fair enough. The only thing that I want to talk about here is, does Roseanne have kind of a point that? How am I trying to word this? I feel like when these type of things happen, right? Somebody who says something we don't agree with, or whatever the case is, I feel like there's a portion of people who feel emboldened then to be like, kill yourself or whatever the case is, right? And it's like I've always struggled with that because there is no part of me that thinks that that's the healthy way for me to then handle that situation is to be like, die, kill yourself.
Did she say she struggled with like suicidal thoughts
I'm
or
guessing
just depression?
Let's see. She says, I've survived. I come out on either side of it. Addie's laughing at her. Do you think her tweet's funny?
No.
Racist.
Her reply tweet is hilarious. She goes, guys, I did something unforgivable.
Yeah.
So don't defend me. It was 2 a.m. and I was ambient tweeting. And then she goes, it was Memorial Day too.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean,
that means she was drunk and fucked up.
Yeah.
But like,
no.
That just highlights more of who you are.
On all Memorial Days, we all get a little racist, right? Like, that's a thing.
Do we?
No, that's a fucking sarcasm. No, what about Memorial Day do you just say?
That's what I'm
celebrating differently this year.
Holy shit, can you imagine
at the
that?
cookout acting different this year. Yo, is that a rain? Is acting different? Like,
bring fried. I don't know why you brought fried chicken to the cookout, but I suspect. And watermelon, you brought both?
God, I'll take them, but
I'm looking at you.
I should have came out to the car to get this. Don't bring this in here.
Holy shit. She says, "I've survived. I've come out on the other side of it, finally. But it was a witch burning, and it was terrifying." I guess she's talking to the Los Angeles Times. She said, "Cancel this," or I guess the special is called "Cancel This." Long story short, I don't really give a shit, and they did not do her any favors with this picture. I wish I had it queued up with the picture that they have of her for this insider. Article. Yeah. Oh my God. They picked if you're trying to make her look hysterical and crazy, this is she's got a cigarette in hand. She's yelling at the camera. It's a camera, so I don't know why you're yelling at it.
They changed it. If you click into the article, it's a different photo now.
No. Scroll down.
My shit is loading, so I don't see it.
Sorry for the slow internet.
Oh no, there's the picture. Yeah, screaming with a cigarette.
Yeah.
And she's got on like crazy necklaces, too many necklaces.
Yeah, I know, right? She says, "I guess I would call it a dark night of the soul. I felt like the devil himself was coming against me to try to tear me apart, to punish me for believing in God." What?
Bring religion.
That's
whenever people bring religion into it, that's where you just lose me, because I'm like,
what are we doing?
I'm not having that conversation. I'm not going to waste my time,
because it's one thing if you're like, man, a whole bunch of assholes are coming for me and they're just saying shit out of like the side of their mouth and doing crazy shit. It's another thing when you say that people are punishing me for believing in God. What about that entire scenario was about you believing in God?
It's a way to displace like blame, right? To make yourself the victim, even though you probably are the thing who I mean, not probably, you 100% said something you shouldn't have fucking said that offended a lot of people.
But this is my honest to God question though. Do people go a little far when they, in response to this? Was it a racist comment? I think.
Yo, if I'm a studio executive, we've got like 70 projects, right?
Yeah.
On the books that are waiting to be greenlit.
Sure.
So do we move forward with this project where this woman has already pissed off millions of people by making racist comments? Like, not only did she bring up like the Muslim thing, right? She also brought up like comparing a black woman to
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, which is, clearly, maybe she in her mind wasn't being racist, but it's clearly has to do with race, right? So you bring in religion, culture, and race. You insult 3 different fucking groups. We're gonna go forward with that 80s show or that 90s show. We're gonna do something else.
I'm gonna say 2 things that are very that I think are potentially controversial. One, I once had it in middle school. A dude called me a monkey, even though he kind of called everybody a monkey. White dude, you know him. Not going to say his name, but he called me a monkey, and I chose to take it like a black person would take being called a monkey, right? Even though he called everybody a monkey, right? Now, I feel like when I reflect on that, I'm like, I kind of chose to take it that way because he's stupid and he doesn't fucking know what the fuck he's saying. He literally, very literally, called everybody a monkey, right? So I'm not saying that she didn't intend to be racist with this, because I think a lot of racist people live with or live in the realm of plausible deniability, meaning that they say something that can be interpreted in many different ways. And they, did I say that? I don't know. I don't know if I said that.
And some things just trigger people, right? Like, I remember one time I was in a group of people and I was like, these bunch of bitches or something like that, right? And the woman in the group was like, but I was talking about a group of people, and they were not all women. It was like 4 dudes and like 2 girls, and I'm like, there's a bunch of bitches right here.
She must have heard,
and she was
some
like
episodes of the podcast.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. She's like, I know where you're talking.
Like,
we say this all the
time. Yeah. But no, so it was, and I know for a fact, I don't remember how many people were there, but it was definitely more men than women.
Yeah.
But like, she internalized that word bitch as like speaking about a woman. So she was like, hey, don't refer to women as bitches. And I'm like there's more dudes. I'm talking about all of them.
Yeah.
But I get where she was
the
coming
triggering
from.
comes from.
And sure. I get where you were coming from in being triggered, but like sometimes what triggers us is not always
that's not what I don't know if that was like the intent of what was said, even though I perceived it as that. the intent of what was said. And he's stupid, so he didn't like that. Or ignorant, I guess, is maybe the better term to use. And so he didn't have a concept of that, right? And so it's up to me then to be like, I'm giving you this one fucking time, but I'm going to tell you right now what the fuck that word means to me, right? And then if he says it thereafter, okay, then we all know what the fuck it is, right? But the second question to that is the response proportional? Meaning that she says this thing and people are like, oh, go kill yourself. Like, because I'm assuming that's the type of comments, I'm positive that's what she must have received in response to this, right? I don't know. I've never found it in my heart to believe like I should tell somebody to go kill themselves. Because if they did, that's on my soul. Like I know it probably has nothing to do with me. I can't direct, or maybe I don't know. And I think that's the weirdness of social media. How the fuck do you know?
Wait, so are you saying like people were telling Roseanne like, oh, go kill yourself? Go kill yourself. Right?
Yeah, which is why I'm thinking that she felt suicidal, because people are saying all these bad fucking things about her. On top of that, saying go kill yourself.
Yeah, this is why like I'm all for social media, but I really do feel like to be on social media, you should have to be able to verify your ID, right? So if you've
said this before, yeah,
if you harass somebody, if you like talk shit about somebody, if you're racist, if you're sexist, if you're Islamophobic, homo, like whatever the fuck you are, like we need to be able to. Who the fuck are you? You can't be able to hide behind the anonymity of social media, just like no photo, no real username, a fucking ghost account.
Yeah,
I think that's bull. The number one thing I would do if I could, like to even be on social media, you got to be above at least age of 16, and you have to verify your ID. Cap.
I think the verifying the ID thing is a little.
Then don't be on it. Just fucking do something else.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I think that's a fair
choice. Yeah. I mean, some people say, "Oh, it's my right. It's my freedom of speech." Well, if you're going to speak on here, and we got to, be careful that you're not. Your freedom of speech is not hurting other people.
I think the thing that I find with that is that, like, to me, that's kind of the same thing as saying, like, if you go to like a protest or a rally or whatever the case is, and they cops start like fucking using facial recognition software, and then they like 2 weeks later they come pick you up, like, you're at this rally, right? We're gonna arrest you because you disorderly conduct, and it's like, it's bullshit. I kind of feel like those are kind of.
But was I there or not? I mean,
no, you were there, but it doesn't mean that you did shit. But they're just like, oh, whatever, you were there.
Like rounding up whoever,
or they target you, right?
It absolutely can be used, to target people, unfortunately. Yeah. But I also feel like what we're doing right now is clearly not working, because on social media, people can have like 5 fake burner accounts, and then they just use those accounts to stalk.
All of them are Kevin Durant. All the burner accounts are Kevin Durant.
Fucking Aaron Rodgers.
No. Aaron Rodgers would have the ego to not
like, trade Devontae. Keep Aaron.
No, he has the ego to not use the burner account. He just uses his own account. He don't give a fuck.
He just goes to Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. He'll just say. The last thing I'll say about this is and this is all coded in. Roseanne is painting herself as like the biggest victim in the world. In reality,
lady, you got fired from a job.
Well, she says they shit on my contribution to television and the show itself, but I forgive everybody. I started thinking that God.
Everybody. No one asked.
Hold on. She said I started thinking that God took me out of there to save me. Yeah, like I think that's what's called like rationalization, right? Like, so we try to make whatever scenario that we've got going on make sense to us, right? So instead of being like, all right, I'll take that one on the chin. I fucked up. All right, moving on. It's a show that I'm proud of, but fuck, it didn't end the way that I wanted it to. I think I learned a lot from it. It's, oh, well, God, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
That's a way to not take accountability for your actions, right? Like, you get fired from your job for doing something you shouldn't have been doing. You're like, well, God said that wasn't the right opportunity for me, and I forgive you all for treating me that way. But look at what this new opportunity. Like, God is not.
Oh, and I'm
responsible for this. This is the executives at the network were like, you're a fucking liability.
Yeah.
You're done.
And what I would also say is that actually, and I might have gotten this a little wrong. She actually, her issue with the show of killing her off. I mean, I'm sorry. Her issue with the show of period of like the suicide comment was actually with the fact that they killed her character off. So she thought that was a sign from the show that they wanted her to kill her character off.
Oh my god!
I feel like that's a little bit of a leap.
It's a fucking.
It's a little bit of a leap. Yeah, it's a reach.
That's a reach around.
So she says
double jerk
when
you're watching fucking Red Tube.
With Bill O'Reilly in the background. When they killed my character off, that was a message to me, knowing that I'm mentally ill or have mental health issues, that they did want me to commit suicide. They killed my character and my character. So double entendre, I guess.
Did you do it? No. Are you okay? Yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I think this is clearly a fucking reach, right? But I think what it illustrates is like it's a weird. You can spin anything into anything, right? So it's like, oh well, they know about my mental health, so they know that what this would do. Like, and I feel like I actually talked about this past recent week in therapies. It's like you jump to these like you just spin this story in your head until it's real, right?
Yeah.
You just so like instead of being like talking to somebody and be like, oh yeah, like we had a meeting and this is exactly what the fuck we thought we were gonna do. It's just like you 5 different steps later, you're like, I've arrived at the conclusion that you did this because you wanted me to kill myself.
Yeah.
Like,
if I get fired from my job and they kill
we
all
had
my
to get you
projects.
off the show
Yeah.
in a way that made sense to the show. We don't give a fuck about you.
We're not gonna do what they did on what is that the Netflix show with Kevin Spacey, the House of Cards.
House of Cards, yeah.
And
And it's like you're in a meeting all day. Like,
Yeah.
Actually, they did. To be fair, they did kill his character off too.
Yeah, but like in the way that made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
I think in the road they at least tried to make it somewhat like, hey, like here's what happened. But
I have no idea what the fuck happened in Roseanne.
But
I
either
just
way,
know that
if I get fired from my job and they kill all my projects and my VPN access, I can't go, oh.
your feet.
So you guys are trying to kill me?
me?
Kill my wife? I can't fucking sue them for that.
Let's move the fuck on. All right, I gotta go through this pretty quickly. The only thing I want to say about this is they're coming out with another Riddick movie, and I don't know how the fuck Vin Diesel. What kind of witchcraft? Look, I might side with Roseanne on this. All right, this might be a god type of thing. I don't know what kind of witchcraft he's using to convince these fucking executives to keep greenlighting these sequels to these trash franchises. I don't know. I couldn't tell you one fucking person that I know when either Riddick or its sequel came out, or I guess Riddick.
I was in
the
the
sequel.
movies watching.
Yes.
I spent 2 hours watching Riddick.
I feel dirty.
Yeah.
You know how
after 20 minutes suck, but the rest
after
is
sometimes
awesome.
you have sex and you just like, ugh, I feel gross about that.
No, I feel great. I'm like, she gotta
You've
go.
you've never had sex with somebody where you're like, ugh, this feels gross. You have. I'll save you the trouble. But that's how I feel after Addy just fucking said he saw.
Damn, you just reminded me of a
I even
core
have
room.
the blue.
traumatic experience. Should have never fucked that girl.
Jesus. What did you say, Addy?
I said I have the Blu-ray box set, the
Oh,
special edition.
Really?
Addy,
Yeah.
what is wrong? Do you need
Actually,
to
it was
talk?
a gift for my birthday.
Do you need to
from
talk?
Steven.
Oh, it was a gift. Okay.
No. Either way,
We're gonna go
that's
see
even
Magic
worse.
Mike 3 in
Man.
theaters.
Somebody thought that low of me that they're going to give me
Oh,
the
shit,
Riddick
yeah.
series.
Yo,
Jesus
I
Christ.
even kept the poster from the premiere of the Riddick
Wait,
movie.
wait.
gave out
Does this have a
posters?
backstory? Like, did you learn English during
Nah.
this movie?
Nah, I just love.
Why?
I love the first. The first
I'm not gonna lie.
movie,
I
Pitch
like the
Black.
first. I like the Chronicles of
You
Riddick,
know,
and then Riddick was
The
decent.
Chronicles of Riddick was okay. It was a little too Hollywood for me. The first one, Pitch Black, low
And
budget, was
the
real nice.
sequels
the third
weren't
he
Hollywood?
mortgaged like 3 of his homes so he could actually finance this movie. Like, it made money. It made money.
I like Riddick more
I'm
than
sorry,
I
it
like.
made what money? What money did Riddick make?
From the first movie, Pitch Black, you might remember this, or Rain, if you like the movie. The one line that he had where the shaman is talking to him, he's like, just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean God doesn't believe in you. And he turns around, he's like, you know what, shaman? You got it all wrong. I do believe in God, and I absolutely hate the motherfucker.
That's funny.
Oh, okay. Now
Listen,
I see.
Now you get it. Now you get it.
Look, Riddick grossed
That's
42
my man.
million in North America. It grossed 56 million in other countries, totaling like almost $100 million worldwide.
Yeah.
I don't know what the budget for the film was.
Yeah,
but
probably 100 million. Yeah, yeah, that's probably what it took to make the sequels.
Let's see here.
the third one?
What was
Yeah.
the budget? So it did.
Yeah,
worldwide
wasn't
it did
low
almost
budget.
100 million.
It wasn't a low
Budget was
budget movie.
38.
The budget was 38. So worldwide, it did 130 million, almost 100 million box office, and it did another almost 30 million
Yeah.
in like DVD sales.
Yeah, whatever.
Blah,
I'm
blah,
hating.
blah.
Hate.
Yeah. That was just pure hate. Again, he may not be like the greatest actor in the world, and these movies may be kind of fucking getting stale.
The undersell
Right?
of the century. This
man,
dude is not the greatest actor.
but she's got the prettiest voice.
Family. Did he say that in the Riddick sequels? I would be surprised
Like
if he
he
didn't.
does not. He has no family. That's
Yo,
the
if
point of
Toretto
Riddick,
ever
man.
met Riddick, even though Riddick is like a fucking, he's the guy in outer space. I bet they would still try and make Toretto beat up fucking Riddick in the dark.
We're gonna watch a trailer here in a sec.
We got the trailer?
Yeah, we got the trailer
For the new.
No, not the new Riddick.
The Fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm excited now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so super quick before we jump to that, I want to talk about what we're watching currently. I know we're probably going to run over time here in the podcast, but I don't give a fuck. We're vibing right now. What are we watching right now? Because I got some heat for you. Talk to me about what you're watching right now.
Yo, I'm in a bit of a dry spell right now.
You gotta come on. What's going on? This is like a couple episodes now.
Yeah. What is that show? I've been watching more reality TV than anything. So there's a show. It's called Special Forces: World's Toughest Test.
Love Island is ruining.
No. This is a different show.
Okay.
So this is Special Forces: World's Toughest Test. It's got a bunch of celebrities on here that you probably are familiar with. They got Danny Amendola's on here, Mike Piazza, fucking Carly Lloyd. You've got Dwight Howard's on the show. So they take celebrities, they pair them up with like these like a real military motherfuckers, dudes that have been like in the shit, and they see if these celebrities can get through the test. It's actually fairly good TV. It is entertainment. You can see the entertainment factor behind it, but it's actually pretty good. Other than that, dude, I've gotten back on the anime swing. You know what I mean? So I
what do you want right now? What is
Hunter started that.
Okay.
Still going through Attack on Titan.
Ooh, I gotta actually do these.
There's Demon City that I've been watching. I'm still fucking occasionally Cowboy Bebop. I'm trying to sleep at night or trying to get.
That's a vibe, dude.
It's a super vibe. Great music, great art, great story. But no, dude, I've just been focusing on like, other shit lately. And then by the time I get to sit down on the couch at night and like watch a show or watch a movie, I'm so like cognitively fucking just tired that I just want to watch something I'm already familiar with. So I haven't had, there's like 12 shows on my to watch list. I haven't really gotten a chance to start any of them.
Are you going back, or are you just like watching new stuff, or are you just going back?
Other than anime, like I'm watching like new anime, but it's, in terms of like movies, like the other night I watched No Time to Die. I'm like, I just had a long fucking day. And I'm like, I don't want to watch new shit and have to learn new characters and follow the story.
So this is a trap that I fell into. I think it's even though I'm literally going through all of DB's, or I guess Dragon Ball Super right now, so this makes me a pretty significant hypocrite. But I have gone out of my way to watch shit that I haven't watched yet, and I'm going. It's a part of this entire fucking thing where I guess I'm trying to go through what they call like mindfulness, of just being extremely present in the moment that I'm in. So what that means is whatever I'm doing that thing. I'm not fucking scrolling YouTube, which is like my favorite thing to do. I'm not scrolling Instagram. I'm not texting. I'm not whatever. I'm just doing the one thing. Or if I'm doing any one of those things, that's all I'm doing. I'm not also watching YouTube video, because it's part of why like I feel like my brain is kind of like all over the place sometimes, is because I've like taught myself to just pretend like I'm multitasking when I'm not multitasking. I'm just hopping from one thing to the other very quickly, right?
Yeah.
So what I say all that to say is that I try to watch new things in order to force me to just and don't do anything else. That's all I'm doing for the moment. So even if I'm tired, even if I'm whatever, I'm just doing the new thing. And even honestly, since I'm even watching Dragon Ball Super right now, I'm just watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm just trying to absorb that in its entirety on its own. So I think it lends itself to like new things, because you're more likely to try to pay attention with new things versus like old things, which is you're like, I already watched this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, usually it's when I'm like, hey, I'm ready for like fucking bed. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to start a new show, because it's like, fuck, if I enjoy the first episode, I already know tonight I'm going to want to watch the second episode. And I'm going to stay up an hour later than I should have. So let me just find something that I've already seen, that I'm already comfortable with. So like at any point in time when I'm ready to go to bed, I just hit the power button. Done.
Gotcha.
But other than The Last of Us, but I wouldn't consider that new. It's been on for several weeks.
And you've been watching that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been purposely not watching it. How I like to do. I don't like to.
Yeah,
while everybody else is on some shit.
You don't like to get
like
the good shit when it's like new and fresh and good.
I like day old. Give me the day old.
Listen, we're 6
day
weeks.
Old
6 weeks. We're 6 weeks old. It's old enough.
It's past day old.
Way past.
Okay. Before I say mine, Addy, do you got anything that you've been watching lately?
Nah, nothing new. I've been going back and watching some stuff that I used to watch, and I never finished. I got the girls into Prison Break, trying to get through all of that shit.
Yeah, try to get people into Prison Break. I don't know why.
It's a good show, man. They love it.
Oof. I think past a certain amount of seasons, maybe the first how is it 5 seasons?
We're in 5 seasons, and I think the 5th season was a special kind of return.
Ooh, it was a little brutal.
Interesting fun fact.
Yeah,
Wentworth Miller. Going on a little bit what you guys were saying about the certain actors stepping away from certain type of roles.
Yeah,
not wanting to, obviously with Penn, not wanting to do sex scenes in You.
Mm-hmm.
Wentworth Miller decided to step away from playing straight roles and really hasn't gotten a whole lot of roles.
Is he actually gay? Okay.
Yeah. And he stepped away. He's basically
that sucks.
said,
that sucks for him.
I know, because he was a really good actor. Well, he is an actor.
I don't know if I'd call him. He's an actor. Yeah,
he's a good actor. But you're gonna say he's bad? Is he Vin Diesel?
He's not terribly far away from Vin Diesel. This is what not quite Vin Diesel.
Chance.
No, I would argue that or let me say it this way: he plays the same character a lot. Every role that I've seen him in, he's just
you talking about Wentworth Miller?
Yeah, the not the fucking Diesel brother, but the other guy, right? He's always plays sort of the stoic kind of just
he's typecasted.
Yeah. Is that is it typecast if you just keep accepting the same role? If they're if they keep calling and you're
kept giving him a straight role like that every single time, and eventually he was just fuck it, I'm not going to do this anymore. But
I personally speaking, I think even if he plays a gay, I feel like he just still plays it the same way. It's just that my character is gay. Fair enough. Who knows? We haven't seen him in that role, so who knows, right?
He was the guy that took Mariah away and We Belong Together.
Yeah. And he played, and somehow, even though he didn't have any lines, he still somehow, it's the same guy. Yeah, it's the same.
Hey, I like it.
It's somehow the same guy.
It's a good show. So I went through that. Obviously, I watched all of Dad 90 show. I ended up watching, I remember we reviewed the dog trailer with Channing Tatum. I watched that while I was.
That's a year old.
Yeah, it just came out in France. So
I don't know. I was like, well, why were you forced to then watch the dog trailer?
I didn't have a VPN like Rain. All the good stuff.
Yeah, you got to sign up for that shit, dude.
Yeah, but I actually do want to watch The Last of Us. That does look good. Somebody needs to give me their HBO because I'm not paying for HBO Max.
Hey man.
I was gonna say that.
Well, shit. I don't know, man. Netflix is cracking down. I think.
Apparently Netflix is already
Yeah, they're cracking down on that.
No, they've
rescinded.
Yeah, they've rescinded for the most part because a lot of people.
It's too much to untangle.
You're gonna lose 20 million people.
And you need people to watch that content. So,
So do you lose 20 million people, but only allow people with who are actually the account owners to have it?
If they were smart, they would just create incentives for people who are already sharing passwords. Create incentives for them to kick in a couple bucks. It's
maybe
it's hey, we noticed you shared your password with 3 people. That's going to cost you $3 extra this month.
It's fine. We'll just hit
something.
Yeah, they keep charging our accounts no matter how much they fucking raise the thing. So it's we're sticking with you nonetheless. So fuck it.
Or hey, any guest account has ads or something like that. And
but how is that not something that they? I'm sorry for
no, go ahead.
But how is that not something that they calculated? That we would lose all these obvious thing.
I think what happens in a lot of these these executive boardrooms, right? They're just hey, how do we maximize revenue? How do we maximize revenue, right? And okay, we allow people to stop sharing because if 20 million people who had access to someone else's account now do not have access, they still love our shit. You know what I mean? It's they're drug dealers, right? They're we've got the best fucking drugs in town, right?
That blue magic.
So you're we'll terminate their guest access using someone else's account, and then of course they're going to want to sign back up with us because we're Netflix.
They're making that assumption, realizing that people.
Now it was cool when it was free. That shit cost me $16,999, whatever the fuck it is.
Also,
I don't have
before
Netflix right now.
I don't know why I
my
said
brother,
$16,999,
my brother was like,
but-
my brother canceled it, and I was using his account, so I don't have Netflix right now. So it's kind of like,
Goddamn, what does Faye watch?
I mean, I have so
Not
much other
Netflix?
shit. You know, what I mean, you got HBO, Disney, Hulu, Apple TV,
How you gonna watch you though? How you gonna watch
Peacock. I got
Penn
Peacock
Bagley
now.
not bang chicks on you?
I mean,
I guess you're not.
Yeah, now there's no sex scenes. I don't want to see it. He's just killing women now. Ugh. You know, that's terrible.
Hey, before I forget, one
Yeah.
new show that I am watching,
Yeah.
that me and the girls are watching, it's a reality show. It's called The Parent Test on ABC. It's on Hulu. You know, as soon as like after Thursday night is done, it shows up on Hulu on Fridays.
Yeah.
Really good show. Really intriguing to see. They basically take a mix of different type of parents that have different type of styles, and put them through scenarios, like identical scenarios, sometimes different, to see how their parenting styles compare to other parenting styles. And I love what they did with the type of parents that they got. For example, they got, you know, like a traditional, like, you know, couple that's like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, Jewish based, you know, kind of like faith based. They have a interracial couple that's like Mormon. They have one single gay father. They have, you know, a black couple that has, you know, several kids that are helicopter parents. They have a single Latin mom. Like, they have all kinds of different ones to see how, you know, their different styles intersect, and then they basically vote, you know, which style, you know, did the best, and they go on. And it's fantastic to actually see what works and what doesn't. And the one hilarious, I'm gonna say this one part, the one hilarious one, they were asking this set of parents to do a test and discuss you know, sex with their kids, you know, because that's a difficult conversation for a lot of people. And at the end of it, they ask what they call the back row, the other parents who aren't involved in that episode, and they go to the gay gentleman, and he's like, I'm just laughing at you guys, like, having trouble with this, because I had to explain to my kid, like, at 4 or 5, why he doesn't have a mom, and, you know, how these things work, and like all this. And I'm just like, yeah, like, you should probably have these conversations pretty early with kids, because they know shit from an early age.
I actually was listening to a conversation about this very thing of like, what age should you tell kids about like sex and shit. And the reality is like the earlier the better, only because it's like they're going to find out one way or another, like with as much avenues as they have with the internet, and just, you know, 100%. No matter how many fucking blockers you have, you know how easy it was for us as kids to access porn and shit like that, not from the internet, but just in life. Yeah, like I remember
LimeWire was the shit, man. I mean, you would find everything on LimeWire.
Yeah, that was a little too dangerous for my house, because we all shared the same computer, so that was it was a dangerous endeavor. You didn't, you know, it couldn't be Sunday afternoon and you're like, what is this on my computer? Like, what? It's my brother. Like, but what I will say, dangerous show. We're playing with fire here, because that's, you know, people can extrapolate a lot of very like permanent misunderstandings about different cultures, different people, yada yada, all from a show that's telling you these parents are fucked up, dude. Like,
no. If you were to watch it, you'd actually see the love and positivity that, even though they're opposing styles, you know, just contrasting completely different styles, they all seem to be able to pick out something that they're doing right and they're doing wrong, and somebody else is doing right and somebody else is doing wrong.
Okay, so it's not just like a shit on them show. No. Let's figure this out.
Okay. Like they have a lot of love there. It's really great. And to your point, like there was one specific couple who basically thought that they were just doing everything right. Yeah. And when it got to this one scenario where they set these kids up in a situation where they were alone and a stranger came up, would they go with that stranger? And they were all like super confident that, you know, their kids wouldn't, and then to see which kids did and which kids didn't get into a car or, you know, go somewhere with a stranger. Like, you know, it's scary. It's scary.
This show is fucked up.
Yeah, I might have to check this show out.
But it's all
kid
positive.
Is scared as shit.
It's all positive. Tell you. Like,
wait, and this is called the Parent Test on Hulu?
Yeah, the Parent Test. Yeah, watch it on Hulu. It comes out on Hulu
as a
on
parent,
Fridays.
if you think you're doing everything right, you're more than likely, if not 100% wrong.
You're already wrong.
There's no way you're doing everything right.
And that's what they're finding out. They're thinking their way is the best way, and then they're finding out, oh crap, like, maybe my message isn't getting heard. Maybe my teachings aren't being followed the way they should. So really, really, and surprisingly, and Tune, I'll have to get your information for this show because I need to follow it up. That couples counseling show.
Yeah.
That the girls end up bringing up, they're like, some of these parents might need some of that couples counseling.
Hey, fam.
I gotta watch that show.
Hey, everybody
that
can use
first
that
episode was crazy.
Everybody can use that shit, man. Yeah, anybody who's in an actual like relationship can fucking, or at least even in a, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't even care if you're like in a romantic. You could use it like
you
trying to. Yeah, I know, right? We should go to fucking couples therapy. Let's figure some shit out here. Hey, why do you like watching Bill O'Reilly as he watches Red Tooth? Yeah, I think everybody could benefit from that show. Let me go through what I'm watching real quick, and then we can move on to the trailers. The Menu. Watched it.
What'd you think?
Conflicted. I can see where you could watch it and be like, this is utter trash. I can also see where you're watching it, and it depends on how you watch it, meaning what lens you watch it through. Mm-hmm. If you watch it through as like a satire and as an kind of an absurd, if you kind of watch it like you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think you have a better experience with it than you trying to take it literally.
Gotcha. Okay.
When you watch it literally, I think you're like, what the fuck is actually happening here? But when you watch it as like a satire, then you interact with it, I think, a little differently. And I think that I like almost like more than like midway through, I had to like adjust the way that I was watching because I was like, this is stupid on every front. Like,
what did you do to adjust?
It got to the point where I understood that they could have left basically at any time, and they didn't really like try to leave. Sorry, Addie, if this is a spoiler for you, but they didn't really try to leave. And I was like, this is really stupid. But then I was like, but if I don't watch it through that lens of just like, okay, well, they could have left, or all the things that would have actually made sense.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, I can interact with this a little differently than
so I was just searching like the movie and pulling up the cast. Like, sure. So you're right. I think if you're watching the movie and you can, there are many different lenses, which is why I think movies are great because mm-hmm. 5 people could watch a movie and they may have 5 different experiences.
Sure, yeah.
It did take me a while to get away from the fact that they could fucking leave at any time. Yeah. Or like, why do none of these people see anything wrong with what's going on here? Like,
or they do, but they just don't do anything about it. They're just like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah, and there are people who just accept, like, oh my god, like something's happening and I can't do anything about it, right? Like that, it did frustrate me, but eventually you get over that. Like you start to try and enjoy. Like I tried to really focus on like the acting, and like I think some of the acting in the film was great. I mean, I think it's Anya Taylor-Joy, or it's Anna Taylor-Joy. Sure. She's good. I don't think she's that fucking great.
I think a big deal gets made out of her. I thought she was incredible in what's it called? Queen's Gambit.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, I don't really see anything else.
Yeah, we might be.
Ralph Fiennes. Yeah, he was great. Nicholas Hoult. I like him as an actor. I didn't like him in this movie.
No, I thought Nicholas Hoult was probably the best part of the movie.
Oh, I mean, his character was like this, like blind, senseless, like dick who just wanted like love and admiration from or he just wanted to be acknowledged by the person he like. Is obsessed with.
But I think that's why the movie is a little interesting, because even the way you see his character, I think is interesting, right? So for instance, the movie sets him up as this just like fucking douche who like he admires everything there is to know about cooking, but he can't actually cook himself, and yet he's like this, like, I'm the foremost expert, and I'm poo-pooing people who don't know, oh, this is the tool that you use, but yet you don't know how to fucking actually use the tool yourself, right? So you're kind of ruining the thing for everybody, right? Both the creators of it as well as
he was
the
essentially supposed to be like a know-it-all,
exactly,
who actually couldn't do the thing.
But the thing is like
a Skip Bayless kind of guy. It's like
basically, well, I would stop short of a Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless does have talent. He's an author. He's a respected commentator, whether or not you like him or not.
But also it's like
he was never great at any sport, but he's a sports commentator.
But I would even go a step further, meaning that like what Skip Bayless does is purely just opinion.
Yeah,
but he tries to change it as fact.
He's very honest about that. That like he says it all the time. We are in the opinion based business. Mm-hmm. But yes, he does say his opinions as if they are fact.
Yeah,
But that's a part of his.
and they'll be preposterous.
Yeah.
That's a part of his thing.
That's a part of entertainment.
What I'm trying to say is with Nicholas Holt's character is that he had a love for like almost to a fault of the craft, even though he couldn't replicate it. So I took something a little different from it than I think what it was intended to, which is like, this dude's a douche. I kind of pity him a little bit because he actually loves the thing. He may not be able to cook himself, but he can appreciate. And I guess maybe it was a play on that in terms of just like, he wasn't really appreciating it so much as he was like, he just turned it into almost like a sport, right? Like, if I can't cook, then I'm just going to like be able to be like, I know the most knowledge about this fucking thing or whatever the case is. And I'm just going to ruin this for everybody else. And I'm just going to be a douche about it. But I don't know. I kind of went back and forth about that, about like how I felt about him, which I think was, I don't know if that was the exact intent of the, I feel like he was purely created as like, this dude's a fucking clown.
Yeah. And like, you don't know if was that the writing or was it the, how much flexibility did he have to just like the character that we saw, how much of it was like just an actor acting and how much of it was the writing, it wasn't my favorite movie, but I can understand how people would appreciate it.
Yeah, I see it as I think it's one and the same sentiment, but I see it from the opposite end of the spectrum, meaning that I can see I kind of somewhat appreciated it, but I can see why people hate it. Like I can easily see how people hated this movie
for sure. Did we cut Eddie off with his list?
No, well, I'm sorry. Did we cut you off? My bad.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you had that one more.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah. The other thing I watched. I thought it was a really great movie, interesting movie, kind of in the same vein of the menu. Emily the Criminal.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. That's with Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Watched it on Netflix. Aubrey Plaza is a great actress. I'm starting to worry she might be a little bit of a, not necessarily a one note, because I don't saying that about her is it just, I think is borderline criminal. But it's like every role that I see her in, I always think the only person who could fucking play this role is Aubrey Plaza. And all the characters sort of kind of seem the same.
You should watch her interview on Hot Ones.
Yeah.
She kind of like dives into this, whereas like, a lot of times in Hollywood, like she gets often casted in these like kind of like, this character is your personality, which is like that super sarcastic, like, funny.
Have you ever watched one of her like late night interviews, like with like Colbert or like?
Yeah, anybody? I mean they talked about this on Hot Ones too. Like she's like,
no, I don't even talk. Like I feel like she's that person, like where she's just awkward, weird. Like I remember I watched that thing she did with Conan, and every bit of how her character is like awkward, weird. She says kind of weird things.
Yeah, she's super sarcastic in real life, and then she gets cast for these characters in shows and films. Whereas like it's easy to get like, all right, we got the sarcastic, funny girl in this role or in this movie. Like who can play that? Aubrey Plaza. Whereas she really wants to like try and like branch out and do more. But at the same time, you're not going to turn down money or opportunity. You just have to hope that the opportunities that you want come.
But I think I always view these sort of like lower budget movies as like the litmus test for what you actually want to do, because it's like, nobody's like, at least in comparison to your other work, nobody's going to watch this movie in comparison, right? So Emily the Criminal isn't really like a big movie. It's a Netflix movie. It kind of feels like a little bit of a low budget movie. I liked it. I fuck with it.
Cool. I might check that out. I was looking for a movie to watch tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely fuck with Emily the Criminal.
Oh, fuck. Never mind. Not tonight. UFC 284 is on tonight.
What are you going to do, right?
It's an easy. There's only one thing you could do.
Watch that during the week. Yeah, when you got time.
You got Super Bowl tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, my God. This is a jam-packed weekend. But I would argue that what you do with the smaller movies is pretty indicative of what you want to do.
Yeah.
I might have that wrong. I might perceive that wrong as a person sitting on this side of the Hollywood sphere. But I feel like you experiment in those lower budget movies that nobody's really going to watch, because those are the ones you're not really doing for money. You're doing because you want to do them, because you're not really getting paid for it anyway. So why not do something you actually fucking want to do if you're not getting paid anyways, right?
True.
And so this Emily the Criminal, super interesting movie, but I feel like there's just so much of who we know Aubrey Plaza to be that shows up in it, and I can't quite I would never call her a bad actress at all. Like, not even me even saying that feels like it's an insult to her.
Yeah,
but it feels like I could easily, like, if you told me this is how April ended up from Parks and Rec, I'd be like, it kind of tracks a little bit.
You want to see something that's different than what you've seen her do before.
Like,
and this
really
is not,
different. Just
it's not too different.
If she did something, like, I remember I watched a movie with her. It was called, she did it with, what was the non-twin Olsen? Who's in the Marvel movies?
Yes, I remember this movie. Wasn't it like Black Bear or something like
no,
that?
No, Black Bear was fucking awesome, but
it
that
was
wasn't
like,
it.
It was like Marley,
But wouldn't you-
Marla,
wouldn't you-
Marlene
wouldn't
or
you-
something like that. It was like a movie with three different names.
It's close. No. You're talking about the movie that the Olsen Elizabeth Olsen was in, but that movie didn't star Aubrey Plaza. The movie that I'm talking about is fucking something North, maybe. What was it called? Aubrey Plaza, Elizabeth Olsen.
Ingrid Goes West.
Ingrid Goes West. That was the fucking movie. Again, she plays kind of this like weird fucking character, but she, like, it's kind of still just the character that we've known her to be. And perhaps I'm missing subtleties that somebody else would be like, these are stark differences between these characters, which I'm sure that there are. But I think overall, just like the demeanor, the vibe, the whatever of the character still rings for me, still kind of the same. All I'm saying is that if she really wanted to experiment, she would do kind of like the polar opposite of this, of somebody who's just like super engaged, not sarcastic, like, you know, all these things that aren't what we've gotten from her for her career.
You know, like, I don't know where she's at in her career. Like, I would imagine she's doing well, and maybe she's arrived at the point, because like I feel like she's a very like recognizable actress.
100%, yeah.
To where maybe she doesn't have to accept every role, but maybe, you know, maybe perception is not reality.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And maybe if Netflix comes along and is like, hey, we got this project we want you to do, you know, and the character does feel a lot similar to like what she's used to playing. Maybe she's not in a position to turn down a Netflix role where she is the lead actress.
I would argue that I think she's, and again, this is for me sitting on this side of the Hollywood sphere. I think that I'm trying to think of like a person who's like kind of done this before, where they like are like, fuck it, I'm just gonna hold out for like the actual role that I want to play. Dave Bautista, maybe not the greatest example in the world, but enough of it, right? Where he's basically like, I don't want to fucking do Drax I don't want to play just a muscle bound fucking idiot the entire time, right? I want to play somebody like characters of substance, right? I don't know if I've quite seen it as of yet in terms of a character that he's played. Although I would argue,
we saw him in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, 2049.
What's that movie with the actor? He was in not Guardians of the Galaxy. It was like a comedy movie. It was kind of like one of those like Central Intelligence, like The Rock and Kevin Hart, and it was like Dave Bautista.
Where he was like he was like a
cop, and the other kid was like a taxi cab driver or something like that.
Yeah. I know.
I get where you're going. Dave Bautista.
My Spy.
What is it? My Spy? Yeah.
My Spy.
Dave Bautista has been actively trying to not
play the
same
try to
role.
Get out of like this, and maybe it's maybe even that's like a difference of just like, you know, men and women.
Yeah,
and
Knives
like,
Out.
Yeah.
What is it? Green Onion.
Knives Out, I would argue that's pretty spot on in terms of just like, or the Glass Onion. It's pretty spot on in terms of just like, yeah, okay, this is, I pretty much would picture this role for you. But I get like, he's not the greatest example in the world, but like he's at least trying to be like, I'm trying to fucking branch out, and I see the attempts to branch out, even if it doesn't quite land.
Yeah, and with Aubrey Plaza, you don't see that as clearly.
Or maybe I just haven't watched enough of her fucking movies.
Yeah,
I would argue Black Bear was probably her most different of all the movies.
Have you seen White Lotus season 2?
Oh, I haven't. Okay. Is she a lot different than that?
No. No.
To be honest,
to be honest, in the show, her character is like very just like standoffish, like you know, I'm like smarter than everybody, and like
that's
super sarcastic.
Basically, what we've gotten from Aubrey Plaza. But I appreciate her as an actress. I'm just saying, like, I would love to see what she might do with something really like different.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's just me.
Unlike Aubrey Plaza, let's jump to this trailer starring an actor who, one of the most versatile actors, got every movie something different. Vin Diesel. Got the Fast 10 trailer here? Is that the one we're going to start with?
No, we're going to start with what's it called? Hold on.
Damn, I teed that up incorrectly then.
Yeah, we're gonna start with Air.
Being
That's
very
fine.
sarcastic because
that was
Fast
great.
10.
Or we can actually start with Fast 10. If you want, we just go to A2 or whatever it's labeled it as, and
fuck it. Start with Fast 10.
Yeah, let's start with Fast 10. So Dom Toretto and his family are targeted by the vengeful son of drug kingpin Herman Reyes. I haven't watched like the last like 2 Fast movies, so I don't know where the fuck we're at in the story. Apparently they went to space at some point in time. He has a son now. I think I saw that one. Apparently the kid's like 10 now. It's been like 3 years.
I mean, we don't know how much time passes by in the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah. We don't know anything about
None of them look any older.
Yeah, but it's still 20 years
ago,
later.
Which is 3 years ago. Now he's a 10-year-old or a 16-year-old. Is he 10? Trying to kill Vin Diesel at 10?
Probably. I would assume. Yeah. I mean, why not, right? Every 10-year-old wants to kill their father who's family.
Hope not.
So this, of course, is directed by Louis Leterrier. Probably not how you pronounce that. A lot of fucking writers for this movie. Vin Diesel, starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Jordana Brewster. Which how are we rationalizing the fact that she's still in the movie and yet
Paul Walker's
character isn't? Like how is that? How are we doing that?
I don't know. I guess like you can't ignore the fact that like Toretto has like nephews or a niece or something like that.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just like I
feel like her character has not been like helpful.
Yeah,
it's
like Brian. We want Brian. What do you don't really do anything. Anyways, so this is expected out May 19, 2023. Without further ado, let's check it out.
Very hard. And yet here you are, building this magnificent family.
What's going on in that head of yours?
Something little piece of it. He said, Dad, they're not afraid of anything. But I am. I'm afraid of
Yeah, you see how he's like 20 years now? For no reason?
It's a stretch.
Yeah,
it's like 7.
You're about to learn all about fear. Oh. You built such a beautiful life, filled with love and family. I never got that chance. You stole that from me. My future. My family. And now, I'm gonna break yours. Piece by piece.
See, it's not even believable. Fucking Jason Momoa, the nicest guy in the world.
He's coming for you with everything.
What's the plan, Dom? I'm not sure anymore.
And why does everybody who is a criminal, like, an antagonist in one movie is somehow also the protagonist in like the next movie?
Yeah.
I can't take anything you do seriously.
John Cena.
Yeah.
What floors were there?
There is, what was the grade on that house? Oh no, did they?
It's a setup.
He's trying to tear us apart.
Winning used to be about winning. We raced for respect. Today, I raced to stop the blood time.
Did he show up dressed as a peacock? What the fuck?
Problem with having such a big family. How do you choose the ones you save?
Is that Brie? Oh, it's just,
You still know
how to drive?
What do you think?
It's showtime. Here we go.
Oh shit. Luda back with the rose.
Game recognizes game.
That was weird. That was mean.
I'm coming for you, son.
That's what.
Here they come. You will never be able to break my family.
Got that much horsepower.
I mean, just
Holy
the
shit.
fucking Hemi and that shit. What kind of knots was he using?
There's no way he's covered by insurance.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh god.
Gotta be kidding me.
So like literally every star in Hollywood is in this movie. I mean, you know what I hate about that the most is that they said the end of the road begins.
Yeah.
Just,
oh my god.
or is this just the end of the fucking road? Let's
Yeah.
just.
It better be that road Keanu Reeves was on in Speed. Where it's fucking just let there be. But they don't make the jump.
Yeah. This was. What was the last Fast movie you saw? Was it this one? Was the last one prior to this?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all of them. So like,
Did you watch it in theaters or did you watch it like on?
I think the last one I saw, I didn't go to see it in theaters.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I watched it like at home. It was
Fast
on,
9.
like, HBO Max or
Sure.
whoever had it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in theaters.
Fair enough.
This, God, listen.
Yeah.
Fuck,
It's
the,
okay.
the trailer was
Yeah.
a bit tough to watch. But if these are going to be the last ones, dude, if there's nothing else in theaters, I just want to go see a movie.
Trash a movie
I
has to be
might
for
go
you to
see this
say.
before I go see Magic Mike 3.
I don't know.
Nah, I'm
it's gotta sell, man.
1,000% going to see this before I see Magic Mike 3 in theaters.
Guys, help me out. You don't have to like go into the weird chronological order that this universe goes in.
You kind of have to. Yeah.
Well,
I would argue you
I'm
do.
upset we're
Am I
calling it
to
a universe
understand?
now. I may have started that.
I the last one that I saw was the one where they had the send off for Paul Walker.
That's 7.
Yeah, so there's been like 3.
So
There's been 2 cents.
2
yeah.
cents.
So-
So this is the third one.
Yeah.
So then we're still in the time before Han dies in Tokyo Drift.
No. We're past that.
Yeah.
So then how's he still alive?
He didn't.
Hey, if you could have
I think in the movie like, he like faked his
so
death, like he didn't actually
Hey.
die. I think he like got out of the
Yeah.
car before it blew up.
Yeah, that's what they try
Didn't they
to
do
pass.
that with Michelle Rodriguez's character?
They
too?
do that with literally everybody. That's,
Yeah.
You're trying to make
So at this
logic.
In
point,
every
it's
movie,
crazy logic. They
one
just don't
person
die.
gets out of the car
Yeah.
before they die.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? In the last movie, they went to
Unbelievable.
space.
Yeah.
They were in space.
Yeah.
They were driving. Tyrese and Ludacris were in a car in space, and like Tyrese was being very meta about the whole thing. Like, yo, like
We're in space.
like like there was one scene where he was surrounded by like 30 guys, and he just like fucking killed them all. And Ludacris came and he was like, yo, like, isn't it weird that 30 people just try to kill me and I killed them all, and then it's kind of like we're in a movie and we never seem to die or get hurt, and we always end up saving the world. And Ludacris was like, man, you crazy, like, let's go. And they just like went about their day. And like, so how
So
after
even they were pointing fun at the fact that it's
In the
but
movie,
it's still somehow really fucking stupid. And I don't mean somehow as in like it was going to be somehow it's just like you expect when they like are meta for you to be like, all right, at least I appreciate the like the wink and the nod, but no, it's still just really fucking stupid.
yeah. You can't have like a moment where it's like very meta and they're acknowledging the fact that like, yo, all of this is fake.
Yeah.
And then expect me to take the rest of the movie seriously.
No, you can be meta in a movie and to have it still be acceptable thereafter, right?
Not in the way they did it. Like,
No, fair. No,
it was hard-
I
it was-
agree with
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was hard
yes,
for me to
yes.
take the rest of the movie seriously
For sure,
after
yeah.
that. Now they got 2 more coming. Like,
No,
Jesus.
fam, I can't do this. Let's quickly. Oh, the one thing I did want to mention is I read a story recently about how Vin Diesel or how Michelle Rodriguez found out she was still in the Fast franchise because in Fast 5 or prior to Fast 5, I think she died, and then she found out she was coming back by going to the movies and sitting down and watching the new Fast and Furious movie. That's how she found out she was actually in the going to be in the subsequent
Oh, like,
sequels.
like she had film footage and she didn't realize that.
So they had basically like a end credit scene where I don't know if you remember Eva Mendes in The Rock. She was like, "Oh, do you believe in ghosts?" And it was like a picture of like Letty, and it was just like,
could you imagine?
Sitting at there like, wait,
I'd be like, yeah,
what?
I didn't get paid for them to use my picture.
That's exactly what she said. So she was like, I talked to Vinny afterwards, and he was like, "Oh, do you remember that conversation we had about you potentially being?" And she's like, "Yeah, bitch. I remember us theoretically talking about me being
us texting about it.
I don't remember a check. I don't remember that ever. I don't remember the what is it, the wire transfer?
Yeah,
with that?
it never came.
The wire transfer never fucking came through.
It's pending.
You know for a fact that when he said that to her, he goes, "But Letty, we're family."
Yeah, she's like, first of all, you delusional fuck. My name isn't Letty.
Yeah,
it's Michelle.
I have a real name. We're not actually related.
Are you drunk right now? What is it? Do I smell Ciroc on your breath? That's a cutback to earlier today. Nobody's gonna remember that, but it's fine. Anyways, I had to sell that story because it's just how preposterous this entire fucking
it's getting
thing
crazy,
is.
and it's gonna get
it's
crazier.
Not getting crazy. It's been crazy for the last like 5
Well, we
movies.
haven't even seen, we don't even know what the next movie.
Yeah, because there's going to be 11.
There's one more coming.
Apparently,
like,
yeah. Because they said the end begins, so that means like 3 more movies we're gonna get because the end begins. So of course that has to be a trilogy.
End of this story, and then something else is coming.
Yeah,
they're gonna be fighting.
It's fucking stupid. Yeah,
fucking I don't know. They're gonna enter the MCU or something like that.
Jason Momoa is then going to join them, and then fucking there's gonna be a new villain, another star somehow. It's gonna be fucking stupid. Anyways, let's jump to the Air trailer. So it follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike in the pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of sports, Michael Jordan. This is directed by Ben Affleck, written by Alex Convery, starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Viola Davis, and is due out April 5th, 2023. Let's check it out.
Great cast.
Yeah.
1984 has been a tough year. Our sales are down, our growth is down.
Sonny, I brought you in here to grow the basketball business.
People don't know what the hell a Nike is.
What's a Converse?
NBA All-Star shoe.
Look at Chris Tucker.
Cool about Nike.
Marlon
You would
Wayans.
have to have a pretty compelling pitch.
I can tell him the
Marty
one thing the other
Bird.
companies can't compete with. Our basketball division is terrible.
I do not love it. This is where you come up with a brilliant idea that no one else can see. Let's hear it.
I got it.
I found him. Who's that? Jesus? Can't afford it.
I'm willing to bet my career on one guy.
My name's Sonny Vaccaro. I'm with Nike.
Do you typically make it a habit of showing up at people's front doors unannounced?
I don't like to take no for an answer.
Oh, man. Here we go.
You ask me what I do here. This is what I do. I find you players, and I feel it this time. Yeah, okay, it's risky. When you were selling sneakers
That's
out of the
what you
back
don't
of your
want to see.
Plymouth, that was
The
risky.
person
Don't
talking
change
about I'm
that
gambling
now.
it
You're a
all.
rookie. Yes.
Who's never set foot on an NBA court.
If that's the literal definition of rookie, yeah.
What's the plan? We build a shoe line around just him.
I need the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made.
Who's the player?
Michael Jordan.
Your motor
You have our attention.
I believe in your son. I believe he's the future. And his story is going to make us want to fly. But the shoe is just a shoe.
Until my son steps into it.
Got a name for it?
Air Jordan.
I don't know.
Seriously?
Maybe it'll grow on me.
Not sure. I'm not sure.
I mean,
I'm a
you know it's going to
fan.
do well. You know there's so many people who still love Jordan. LeBron just set the record, the highest scoring.
I feel like there are still people who love Jordan.
Yeah, so like people, it's going to do well. It's going to like it's easy. It's a layup, right? It's Nike. It's Jordan, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans, fucking Viola Davis, Jason Bateman.
Yeah,
it's a stellar cast. It's a movie about the start of a company, one of the biggest sneaker, the largest like brand in the world probably. It's going to do well. I'll see this. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters.
I know you'll see it because you're a fashion guy. You
even if you're not a fashion guy, even if you're not a huge basketball person, the story of how this company started and how the whole Jordan Nike relationship started. It's a pretty interesting story.
Well, I think for me, I see it as a little different than that. I just see Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. We've been here before. We've done this before. I'm kind of over it.
You gotta look past that. The story is great. I mean, this is the story
I saw that fro that Ben Affleck had. I don't know if I can get over that.
But this is also 1984.
Okay.
So I think Wonder Woman was in DC doing some shit. They were in.
She wasn't
Portland.
doing much from what we understand. Yes.
So I think this is just going to be. I'm not going to say it's a layup. I think they're going to put together a good movie, but it's a great story. The story of how this little company in Oregon.
Don't get me wrong. They're going to put together a solid movie. I think I'm just kind of over it.
Over what? The pairing of these two actors.
Or just like, they're coming out with another movie, a historical tale about.
I mean,
they did
Ben
Ferrari.
Affleck wrote it.
I don't know if they
Matt
did
Damon.
Ferrari together. I know Matt Damon did Ferrari.
Yeah,
but
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari. It's just like, all right.
We've seen this duel before. I think
we literally saw Duel.
True. I think this story, it's bigger than like any of the actors in it. It's like, all right, I'm sure they're going to fill in a lot of blanks for a lot of people who just think like Nike just went out and signed Jordan and that was it. Like one of the biggest risks at the time in like sneaker and footwear.
Was it a big risk?
Yeah.
Time? One of the biggest athletes.
Now we know that.
No. I'm saying I know it's a good investment.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, was it at the time? Was it a risk in that? I love how they make it a personal story in terms of this dude risking it all for Jordan, right?
Yeah, and that happened.
But he also was one of the biggest athletes in the world, even at that time, unless I'm mistaken.
No, at this point, when Nike signed Jordan, he hadn't played a game yet in the NBA.
But even coming out of college, was he not? He wasn't Air Jordan, but he was still a fucking big time athlete coming out of college, highly recruited.
There were a lot of recruited. Yeah, I think there were a lot of guys coming out of college who were also, you know what I mean?
Fair enough. Maybe I'm wrong.
He signed it during his rookie year.
Yeah, well, they probably started working on it.
They started working on the deal before he had played, and then I think he signed during that year.
Yeah. All right, let me quickly get to it because I actually got a quick call.
We've been doing this for 3 hours. Let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah. Super quick thing. Read an article from Collider that Revenge of the Sith. Basically, they were saying like Revenge of the Sith is even more relevant today than it was back when it like came out. I wholly agree with this.
I don't remember. I would have had to have seen the movie recently.
You don't remember Revenge of the Sith?
I do.
Star Wars?
With like Anakin, and then he got cut up and shit.
Okay, let me throw a couple.
Tell me why.
Let me throw a couple things at you. It's relevant because basically one of the things that they say here, I'll read directly from the article. There's certainly a generation that grew up with the story of Anakin Skywalker and his fall to the dark side, and for many audiences, Revenge of the Sith was a heartbreaking experience to watch for the first time. However, Revenge of the Sith's impact isn't just limited to how it reframes the story of Darth Vader. It's also an eerily prophetic look at the rise of fascism within a corrupted, radicalized political infrastructure. I feel like that's a pretty fucking apt description of where we sit today, politically speaking. It's always fascinating to notice that despite the overt flaws in the dialogue structure, story structure, and character development, basically just saying it's a trash actual film. In the prequels, George Lucas's satire of American politics hadn't dulled at all since his days as an experimental filmmaker at USC. One of the major reasons why they say this is because is because basically he predicted he satirized the fall of democracy, which I feel like we're kind of in the cusp of right now as we look at like our political landscape.
That makes sense.
And I think that when you go back and you watch, like I would actually really recommend that to go back and watch Revenge of the Sith. And I talk about this. A shout out to Dan, by the way. we talk about this with Dan all the time. When you go back and watch the prequels, no doubt, they're pretty, and I think this was a pretty stark description of them in that they were they had overt flaws in the dialogue, story structure, and character development. There is no doubt about that. But the bones of the story and how the politics, the inner workings of all the politics, and how, and one of my favorite things of the prequels is that basically, and the first time I missed it, and I had this Jay-Z quote. He says in Family Feud, right? A man that don't take care of his family can't be rich. I'll watch The Godfather. I missed the whole shit. My consciousness was Michael's common sense. I missed the karma that came as a consequence. Basically saying, the first time I watched The Godfather, I did not pick this up, but fucking, I can't be wealthy if I don't take care of my family. And I feel like it happens that way with movies where you watch it and you don't pick up on the shit initially, but then you watch it again, you're like, oh shit, I completely missed the meaning of this, right? When I go back and watch the Star Wars prequels, that's what I feel, is that I see how the Jedi aren't really like the good guys. But yet, when I was a kid, I was just like, yeah, I know we're doing all this politics shit. Padme says some shit. Democracy dies in dark, with applause or whatever the fuck she says. Yeah, I get that. Lightsabers. Just Darth Vader, Anakin, Obi-Wan, I need a lightsaber battle. That's all I fucking needed. But when I go back and watch them, what I appreciate so much is how they lay out this framework for how democracy dies and how everybody is just kind of like slack-jawedly like, oh yeah, I think this is the way we should go. Yeah. And the fucking, what are they called? Jedi. The Jedi are kind of almost explicitly complicit in this whole narrative of allowing it, even though they're supposed to be the good guys, which I feel like is so apt for like our current state of affairs, is that we feel like there should be like frontline defense for our democracy, but basically the people on the front line are basically complicit in its demise. And I think as I was reading this article, I was just like, yeah, this spot on.
Your last comment, I think that's very true.
Yeah.
The democracy we're supposed to live in today, even, the Democrats, right? They're supposed to be like the good guys, the Jedi, right? And Republicans,
kind of just the bad guys.
The Sith or whoever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we still see, a lot of our Democratic leaders, very much complicit with the shit that's going on, right? It's the status quo. Hey, we're just, that's just how politics works, right? That is being complicit with what's going on. Now, I'll shorten what not even what I was going to say, because it was going to be short either way. Even if it makes sense and even if it's more relevant today, listen, I'm not going back to watch Revenge of the Sith.
Have you ever?
I'm sure I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times, but
why not? I just do it. Why not? Fuck it.
Just spend 2.5 hours.
Watch Cowboy Bebop all the fucking time.
Go back and watch 30-minute episodes. You know what I mean? And I just.
There's a lot of them though. There's like 10 episodes.
I just need 1 or 2, maybe in a night. This helps calms me. It's very familiar. I'm not gonna go back and watch Revenge of the Sith. This is probably right. Who knows?
Can you do me a favor?
Something will happen tomorrow.
As a favor to me, can you go back and watch Revenge of the Sith? Tough ask.
Where is it? Oh no, I do have Disney.
Yeah, we're out.
Look, I literally can't run from it. I have it at home on the TV,
right there. Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. The next time we have this podcast, I will have watched it as a favor. I swear, as a favor to you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Listen, this better be fucking worth it.
I don't expect high things from
this.
You.
This better be worth it.
I would argue it's the best of the trilogy. And if you ignore again the terrible acting, the weird story structure, and just like I guess the overall what were the exact words that we use? Like the dialogue, right? If you or character development. If you ignore those things, which is basically the entire movie, I feel like there's something there that's like, okay, I can hold on to something here, and it's a weird effect. It's because like it's counterintuitive, right? It's a terrible like structured movie. But there's like, you see the bones of what we're dealing with today. It's like, oh shit, this is like predicting what's actually happening today. And I feel like it changes the lens in which I appreciate the movies. Anyways,
Yeah.
Moving on to the next thing, we got to talk about M. Night Shyamalan real quick, super quick because I don't have that much time. Addie brought up a great conversation in our group message here. What was M. Night, because he just came out with a movie, Cabin in the Woods, which, can I just say for the record, the most unoriginal name.
Yeah, we've got too many like Cabin Fever, Cabin in the Woods.
Or I'm sorry, Knock at the Cabin.
Knock
Knock
at
it was
the-
even worse.
Cabin on the
somehow
left.
even more unoriginal.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Addie got the conversation started about what was the this article that came out that talked about how M. Night Shyamalan talked about a movie that he would eliminate from his catalog, but that he didn't want to actually announce. Like he was like, maybe if you get a few more drinks with me, I'll announce it. Which sounds kind of weirdly like a little rapey. I don't know why that came up. Like, if you just liquor me up, I'll spill all my secrets. It's
No, I don't know if that sounds rapey.
That sounds like the start of a date rape. That's how that. Yeah, just give me a couple more drinks and we see what happens. Weird.
Sounds like consent. I don't know.
Sounds like consent. Jesus Christ. Fuck.
I had to dial that joke in.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But what would we pick as the movie that needs to be eliminated, like that the world would be better for if it did not exist from M. Night Shyamalan's catalog? Go.
I'm gonna go with Split.
How dare you?
Whoa.
That is insulting, sir. What?
Or
Split?
Is that the most recent one? Because there was like the
No, Glass was the. Are you talking about of that trilogy?
Yeah.
No,
What
that
was the last
Glass.
one?
Glass was the most recent one.
Then it was that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with you. I still don't.
No, I
There's
mean, the rest
far
of this-
worse films than any of these.
So there was Sixth Sense, keeping that. Glass. Yeah, that shit can go. Old.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. I haven't
Lady
seen
in
Knock
the
at
Water.
Cabin.
Are
The
we-
Visit. I
we're
haven't
gonna
seen
keep-
Lady
we're
in the
gonna keep
Water.
Lady in the- okay.
Oh, you know, it's probably the last Airbender.
I mean, I think Okay, here's what my argument is. Universally, I think us Americans, we don't agree on much, but I think we can all agree that the last Airbender can be erased from his catalog, and the Earth will be better for it. I think not just the U.S., but the Earth. I think as a whole will be better for
I
it.
disagree.
Why is that?
Excuse me. What the fuck?
My camera lighting is a little
Yeah,
off
it's fine.
here.
Hey, it's getting late in the night.
It's
It's fine.
all right. It's getting,
Yeah.
getting
We're
a little
burning
late.
the
3
midnight
hours
oil.
here.
Yeah.
All right. I agree. Avatar: The Last Airbender, terrible. Here's the thing, though. It was written and produced in a way where it was specifically designed for preteens, and it wasn't
That
anything
movie was
like
not designed
the show.
for anybody. I don't know what you. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
That's exactly
My
what it
apologies.
was.
My
That's exactly what it was,
apologies.
because he
Yeah.
wanted to keep it PG. He didn't even want to have the PG-13 rating on it.
Still tell
so
a
that way
story.
young kids could get it. I'm not saying it's right, but
Sure.
because they did it in that way,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that on there.
Okay,
now,
what would you put?
Now,
Yeah.
he directed and wrote that. As a director, though, I would put After Earth as the
Okay.
worst.
Why the
movie
fuck
he's
did you
directed.
steal my thunder here? That was.
Oh, was that yours?
I didn't
Yeah,
even
that
realize
was going to be my
this
worst
movie.
movie.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Take it over. Take
Yeah,
it
that's
over.
the one.
You got the lighting.
Okay,
Take it over.
So to be fair to M. Night Shyamalan, as you stated, right? So the After Earth wasn't really. If I'm to if I'm to remember back correctly, I think that's more of like Will Smith's project than it was like M. Night Shyamalan's.
No, he was the director, screenplay writer, and one of the producers.
But Will Smith came up with the story. Will Smith and if I look at the actual credits here, I'm pretty sure I'll find Will Smith as a producer on the film.
yeah, he was a producer. So was Jada.
But I remember at the time knowing that, and it's because Jaden was in the movie that I remember specifically that I think Will Smith like instigated this project as a way for Jaden to be like, okay, this is your coming out party to the world, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give M. Night Shyamalan that single pass. That's the only pass I'll give him. This movie, if you have Will Smith, forget Jaden for a second, which arguably speaking, he probably was one of the, if not the most questionable parts of the movie. It was like watching him in this movie was like watching Godfather 3. What's her name? Coppola. Sofia Coppola. It was like watching Sofia Coppola in Godfather 3, which is, this movie is actually kind of passable with the glaring exception of her. She just, no offense to her, she's a wonderful director. she made that movie unwatchable. It's an unwatchable movie. Same way that I feel about After Earth. But the biggest problem that I have with the movie, beyond Jaden Smith being in it, is the same issue that I have with The Last Airbender. With the exception, and what I mean by that is it's a poorly like directed movie. Like it's the story doesn't really quite make any sense. The CGI is pretty fucking bad. Just everything. The dialogue is wooden. Everything about this movie is just like, well, when you were filming, what did you think you were filming? When you like actually had a fucking camera and you saw what was happening, what did you think was happening? Right. The most egregious offense is the fact that in The Last Airbender, you had nobody basically of note, right? You didn't fucking have Will Smith as your main actor in the film to at least, if everything else sucked in this film, I can count on Will to give me something. Somehow he fucked that up. Yeah. And that's why I will call After Earth by orders of magnitude his worst movie.
I haven't seen The Last Airbender, but I don't know. This might seem a little bit.
Do your favorite. Just watch a clip.
You've already asked me to watch Revenge of the Sith. Okay, you're asking for too much.
Rain.
I can only give you one.
Pick any portion of The Last Airbender and just watch 10 minutes of it.
And you'll understand.
Portion. Doesn't matter.
You'll understand.
Doesn't matter where.
Right. No, here's where I'll guarantee you'll understand what anybody's saying by that movie.
Well, I mean, the movie
watch any clip.
Good. Yeah.
If you watch, don't watch the trailer because I feel like the trailer can be a wee bit misleading. But watch a clip from the movie and you'll get it.
I don't even like Avatar, the anime. So
no, you don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter.
I'll give it a try. Yeah. I'll do like 10 minutes of it and then immediately jump into Revenge of the Sith and just have myself a shitty night.
Well, you watch something better to cleanse your palate after that. Yeah, watch Emily the Criminal after that. Yeah,
Red Tube.
One of them. Bill O'Reilly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we'll fucking end the goddamn podcast. Unless anybody else had anything more to add.
No, we got to get out of here.
We got to fuck out of here. We've been here for almost 3 hours, if not just almost about 3 hours. We fucking enjoy you guys. We do love you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy the podcast. Like, subscribe, share, whatever the fuck it is. And I think we'll catch you on a flippity flip. Addy, go ahead and hit that fucking outro. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll hit the usual fucking protocol.
Fade out.
Peace out. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your days.